because I don't think everybody can take how brutally fucking in your face I am. You're only here because you failed somewhere else, the fucking lot of you, so shut the fuck up. Like, oh, you're getting sacked in the morning, it's all bullshit. Rang me up day before we played them, saying they were going to burn my house down and kill my kids. The end of that season we had 7 players, no staff, and we were a famous club, a big club, and we were in the shit. I demanded they gave some of my staff a better deal. They didn't do it. They offered me a new deal and I told them to fuck off. What got to me there was I nearly got arrested with my reaction to them. You think you should be on that a week? Well, where's everybody fucking queuing up to buy you then? Someone had put some gloves on, done a fucking shite, and spread it all over the floor. Get me your fucking chairman down here right now. So I still think I'm young. And I can't get a job for fucking toffee.
Ian Holloway.
Chaps, how are you doing?
Good. This is a monumentous moment for us.
Huge.
This is you're like, down south.
Yeah, not the guest. Not the guest. It's just we've got fucking further than Birmingham, haven't we?
Every week, obviously, a different player talking about his careers, and we've got kind of a special group, a private members club, I'd say, that we've now named the Enigma 8.
Managers
that crop up on a regular basis, the best stories, and I'd say you're probably commander-in-chief of that Enigma.
You
skip with
the
somewhere up there.
Oh. Yeah.
What's that from me craziness or?
Nah, but everything. Only good things. There's a lot of managers been on there where they've been arseholes, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just stick them in there.
Yeah. Canio's probably the top of the arsehole one in terms.
Well, I'm a B-hole. I want to be promoted. I'm a B-hole. I want to get promoted to A-hole.
But no, Di Canio's definitely up there for me. When he had them in for 87 days solid.
Yeah.
That is the biggest wankeriest thing I've ever known in my life.
Yeah, but he must have had two sides to him, because what about when he just caught the ball and gave it him when he didn't want to have an unfair advantage?
See, I've forgot about that bit.
Have you?
Yeah. Soon as he had his team in for 87 days solid, all the good stuff's gone out the window. I just think he's a dick.
You'd have needed a break then.
Oh yeah, after day 3.
John's already had a bollocking off Ian already for his lateness when he was a player.
Yeah.
Well, I heard about how you lied about your car.
Well,
skidding, and poor old Alan Irvin went, "Oh, make sure you're safe, son." Yeah.
I know. Yeah. It got me. I got out of a fine as well with it, which is even more.
I hope he's listening now. I'm going to phone him. Al, he owes you some wedge.
He probably knew, but
if you'd have found out about that, what would have been the punishment?
What, with me and the big man?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a bit silly on rules, you know. I hate being late. I want to be late for my own funeral. That's all I want to be late for. I think it's really important. When I was growing up, my dad, you know, whatever you do, be reliable. You have to be reliable. And if you're going to do something, make sure you give it the right respect to get there early enough in case anything happens. So obviously the big man don't plan on his journey. He thinks no one's going to get a puncture or no one's going to, and there's going to be no traffic, and he leaves it as late as possible. I would have to change that in him.
See, a puncture, you can't know about a puncture, can you?
Yes, you can. You can add that into the time of your journey just in case it happens.
I've only had 20 minutes at home every night. I've been like that, going home, I love you, alright. Right, see you
yeah,
later,
your love would have been loving it, because if she gets you out of the house.
You were a red light away from being late, weren't you? Any traffic lights?
Right, I used to walk into the dressing room with the talking clock on, 9:59 and 40 seconds. And then give Callum Davison the "oh fuck off, you're not finding me today."
See, I'd have sat you down and said, right, hang on a minute, then can the boys who love you, they love you, people like you, they love, because you're there, you're wholehearted, but you're a little bit sloppy, right? So for me to help you, I'd have had to make you less sloppy, more habit forming. You know, I believe successful people have habits, right? And they all have the same sort of habits. They go to bed early, get up early, whereas some of us, big man, look at him,
go to bed late,
get up late. And, you know, at the end of the day, the thing is with centre forwards, and luckily I was never one, because I'd have never made a living at it, but you're good at it and you can finish and you understand that, and then sometimes that's all you rely on rather than all the other side of things. And lesser talented people like myself, I had to just realise that some midfield players sit down and play the piano, where I used to carry it on the pitch and put it down so someone else could play, because that was the talent that I had, and it was being reliable. And my dad said, if you don't make it, let it be through lack of ability rather than lack of effort. So, and then I used to try and find people who were a lot more talented than me, and then rub off on them and make them feel guilty about being a little bit late, and making them understand their importance in it. So me and the big man, I'd have laughed at some of it. Of course you would, like Alan Irvine would have, because on a pitch you're reliable, but it's getting you there. And for you to be the best that you'd ever be, I'd have had to get you fitter, because fitness is the secret to all of it. You know,
They've tried plenty.
I don't think we'd have gone.
He tried, mate.
I'd have been a transfer request. Can you remember the Alan Irvine had just got the sack? We were playing Colchester at home in the FA Cup, and I think Colchester was second in the league, and we were struggling because Alan got the sack. And I got caught in snow, and I got to the ground at 5-2. Obviously the team sheet was in at 2. Alan Irvine had fucked me off. I would never have played. Rob Kelly said, if you're there for 2 o'clock, you're playing. 1-7-1, I scored that trick. Took the fucking FA Cup ball home.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's
that's a one-off.
No, but that's big man. That's what you can do. Your ability lets you do that, but you have to marry that with, you know, where could you have got? I believe I got to the best that I could ever get because my ability stood in my way. Whereas your ability, where could that have got you? Do you know what I mean?
Anyway, it's not all about him, but
no, Brownie. All I'm saying.
I mean, not just that. He's not mentioned your ability yet. I'll fucking lack of it.
over that.
Brownie, it's not about that. You know, the whole lot of this is I admire you two. You've played up front. I wasn't good enough to play up front. Every time I went through, I go, oh my God, I got a chance to score, and I'd like ping it over the bar. And you know, because you got that ice cold stuff, you know, and that's what wins games and loses games. I realised that I was just part of the mix, and I felt that was an important part, because no matter what, you've just drank over half your drink there, right? And for me, my glass was always ever half full. It was never half empty, and that was what I gave to the team. So. You know, at the end of the day, you got to find your strength and bring it week in, week out, and that helped me then become a manager, because I genuinely wanted to try and help people get better, particularly strikers, because I had a little mate who was a genius, in my opinion, Gary Penrise, and I would say, right, hang on, centre forward's over with Penn, because I knew you didn't want to chase, I knew you didn't want to work hard, I knew you wanted to just practice the hardest thing in the lot, which was finishing. So I learnt at QPR when we went bust, and Wasps were the other part of the thing that the owner owned. They had to come and train on our training ground. I watched what they did. They'd split up their squad. They trained 7 o'clock in the morning with some of them, 8, and they were hardly ever together. Only twice a week they were all together as a group. So I thought, hang on a minute, I got to separate my centre forwards. You know, it worked at Bristol Rovers because Penny was teaching them, and you know, we got a load of stacked them and racked them. You're special because you take the pressure. I couldn't take the pressure. I just ran around, tried hard, whereas you lot are the ones that gets the points. You can say it about goalies, yeah, they get special training, don't they? Yeah,
they're always on the road. Yeah.
They get special training. So what did I give my centre forwards? Special training with a bloke who knew that it was all about being on the move. So he came up with things that got them all on the move, because every time you score, you're on the move. I don't care who you are. If you watch it now, if you get your movement right, that's what it's all about. Yeah. Bang, your ability will be there. So you know, at the end of the day, what we did was stack and rack centre forwards, and I'm talking to 2 of you today. It's beautiful, beautiful.
So what's the difference then for you in between that pressure as a player and a pressure as a manager? Because the pressure's there.
The sadness is that you want to be out on that pitch. I don't care. Any manager would tell you the best thing in the time in his life was playing. I believe, right? Because when you can't do that anymore, what else you got left? You come to a huge halt in your life if you're not already planning it, and you forget who the hell you were or who the hell you are because you can't play anymore. Luckily for me, when I was 16, Bristol Rovers made me think about taking coaching badges. So they forced us to learn our trade by taking coaching badges. Me, Tony Pulis, Geraint Williams, David Williams, we were all forced into coaching to understand the game more and get a better understanding of who we are and preparing for when you finish. So, you know...
So at 16 you're doing coaching badges?
Yeah. They made us start to do all that.
They did that with, I don't know about you, but we did it with the PFA. I don't know what level it was, but it was obviously the lowest level.
I think it was level 2, yeah, but I never did it because I think I was involved with the first team, so when they were in doing it, I never did it. But yeah, level 2, I
Something
think.
like that,
Yeah. Well, we got... They changed all the rules about it years and years ago, so I got up to doing there was a prelim then, and there was another one, and they went up to the main licence. Well, after I got all the way up to that top one, they changed them and I didn't upgrade at the time, so I had to take them all again.
Yeah.
I'm still in the middle of doing my A licence, believe it or not, but I also got given a diploma back in God knows how many years. You needed 10 years as a manager and I only done 8. Otherwise they'd have given me all those badges for nothing. But they gave me a diploma instead. And up until now, I've been in work. So I haven't been able to have that time off to, you know, when the season finishes, they do them at the end of the season. So I needed some time with my family. So it's a long story, but it's crazy, isn't it? The way things are. But the answer to your question is I miss playing, and I still miss playing. And it's weird. It seems like yesterday that I played. I can remember so many games, and good God, I'm 56. I spent half my life wishing I was a player again, because that's the only time in my life where I knew I could make a difference. Sometimes as a manager, you're helpless. You're sat there, you're thinking, hang on, have they been listening or what? You know? And then you got the crowd, oh, what'd you pick him for? That's with the benefit of hindsight.
Yeah.
Everybody's a genius when you got hindsight. You know?
I picked him, but I told him to do something completely fucking different.
Exactly. What you do, you spend time telling them to do something completely different. That's your man. Make sure you mark him. And before you know, I lost him, Gaffer.
And then it's
You
your
lost
fault.
him. He's fucking there. Can you see him? But that's the whole part of it. Then you got to have empathy. You got to understand your players. You got to understand that they might, you know. And I always gave everyone one chance. If I give you one chance and then you make the same mistake again, then I'm the idiot, not you.
Who did you learn the most off as your manager? Trevor Francis have a good relationship with?
No, I never had him.
No.
Jerry
Francis.
Fucking hell.
Jerry, Trevor, Jerry.
He's close. He got a second name, right?
Remarkable, isn't it?
There we
That's
go.
what prices.
There we go.
Every week he
Beautiful.
fucks up.
Beautiful.
Every week.
No, that's beautiful. That's priceless. Trevor.
Tricky Trev.
You've been playing
Put it in there
as well.
I know,
haven't you?
yeah.
I got a story about him. Brilliant. I rung him up. He was the manager. So spoke to his wife on the phone. I said, is Trevor there? Please to see you in Holloway, Bristol Rovers. She went, okay. Trevor. And then I could hear, he's just coming down the hall. I could hear. I'm not kidding you. That went on for nearly 5 minutes. He got there. I went, Trev, that's a good 5-iron, isn't it? He went, what? I said, your hallway is about a 5-iron. Oh yes, it's rather a nice house. Yeah. 4.
It's a rather nice house.
Shut up, Trevor.
Jerry Francis then?
Jerry Francis. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he's. I was desperate to learn and get better. That was me all my life, desperate to be taught something. And the second I met him, he would talk about your shoulders. Everybody, Ollie, you just had a bad game. Yeah, but why? Oh, you just weren't at it. You weren't on it, you know. And me and Bobby Gould used to argue like mad because no, you didn't play very well. Yeah, but why, Bob? Couldn't help me really. You know. Anyway, Jerry Francis. Oh, you couldn't see him, mate. You showed him your number, your shoulders. You got to twist your shoulders, then you could see him. So all of a sudden, I started to listen and go home and write it down what he said because he could correct goalkeepers, defenders, talking about where you need to be and how you need to be, and he just knew everything for me. And he made you believe that you could do it. I was taking a free kick one day and he went, look, stop. Ollie, I need you to get it over his left ear. Devil come round the back, Devil let it in. Right, so ready, go, move out of the way. Bang. He did it. We scored. He went, no, now I know you can do it. He wasn't showing off. He just went, now I know. Now you've seen what I want. I know you can do it. So go and practice, do it. But you can do it right now. I trust you with it. So I did it, got it, right? Because he made me believe. Part of me didn't believe. All my life I wasn't good enough. Nothing I ever did was ever good enough for me, ever. Because I wanted it so badly. I realised I thought I was dedicated. I was obsessed. Absolutely, totally obsessed with how fit I needed to be, what I needed to do, how I needed to practice. And Jerry got that and he made me believe. And when you have someone
who believes in you,
what more do you need?
So was that your lesson then in how important mindset and the right philosophy was to improve an individual rather than just a whole team and a squad?
Yeah, I think every one of us is different. Now, how I would talk to Brownie might be different how I talk to Big Parky, but you got to try and work that out. But the secret to all of it is making them believe that you believe in them. Even if you're leaving them out, you got to tell them why. You got to give them that time.
We speak about it a lot. A lot of managers don't.
Even if you blow smoke up their ass, do you know what I mean? As a player, you'd much rather a manager just say, look, this is the reason I'm leaving you out. Even if you think, that's bollocks. At least better than...
Yeah, but I wouldn't have done that. I'd never blow smoke up your ass because you know straight away that I'm talking bullshit. I'd tell you the truth. He played better than you. I need him today rather than you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
McCarthy was good at that. You'd go in there fuming.
Yeah. And you
thinking
come out
you should be
agreeing
playing.
with
You come out and go,
he's right.
he's right.
Yeah, but that's not...
Imagine you two having a nose off. Jesus fucking Christ. like an old fucking jousting thing, wouldn't it?
What are you trying to say? Me and him back to back would be a pickaxe, wouldn't it? Hey, look at little nose here. What?
Did you ever... So did everybody know on a Friday then who the team were? Did you ever get to Saturday at sort of 1:30 and name your team at that time, or were you always...
I think it just depends. I mean, I always thought that you weren't that good a manager if you didn't know what you were doing at that time. And then I bumped into at a hotel, Graham Taylor. I had a cup of coffee with him, sat down, and I asked him about it. He went, just sometimes you go with your gut feeling. And he said, that don't make you a less of a manager. He said, all this planning. He said, it's how you gut feeling sometimes, you know? As long as the lads will do what you're asking them, you can make your mind up. Right at the last second if you need to. He said, plus the fact you get injuries and the more competitions you're in, the more successful you are, the harder it is. He said, just tell them that you're having trouble sorting it out because they're all doing so well. And he's right, you know. The thing is, we judge ourselves to see who we are and what sort of manager, you know. Do you wear a tracksuit? Do you wear a suit? It doesn't matter what anyone else does, it's what you do. And the quicker you realise that, the better manager you're going to be, because it's tough, you know. But in the end, I tried to make it clear that I was decisive, that's what I wanted, that's you're playing, you're not, that's why. Sometimes I would call the two lads in and say, right, he's playing, I need him to do this, he's been doing that a little bit better than you, shake hands and get out of my office. Right, I had it with two lots of fullbacks at one time. 2 were suspended. Right, we were getting in the playoffs, 2 were suspended, we needed to win this game. And I knew the best 2 were out. The other 2, I needed them to step in. So I said, look, don't let me down. These lot have been great, but they're both suspended. Come on. You know, you 2, let's go and do it. We won that game, got in the playoffs, and I went, right, you 2 are back in. You 2 did great. And they all like hugged it, and because they could agree with what I was saying. You know, they won 5-6 in a row. You just won that while I'm putting them back in the final, you know? Yeah. So it's about feeling. You've got to feel what your lads are all alike. And you know, if you look at Klopp now, if you look at the best, they do. I swear to you, you know, they feel. When Mourinho was at his best, when he first came over here, the difference in John Terry and the difference in Frank Lampard, it was, you could see it. It was feasible. You could, oh my God, look, in the end, I thought he was too busy arguing with the board and all that, you know, and it wasn't him. He wasn't fun anymore.
In the media, it was these media interviews as well.
Oh.
He was always a little bit funny with the media, wasn't he? But then it started to get a little bit distasteful.
Yeah, but it must get to you in the end, you know, when you're...
Does it though? Does it get to you?
It's the self-importance. You can get up yourself because of how everybody else sees it and how important you figure it to be. That it's your perception gets out of kilter because of the media,
how they perceive
intrusion in your life, you know. I remember at Palace, you know, at the end I was absolutely worn out. We got promoted and I only lasted 8 games, but I spent all summer trying to sieve through the fact that I had no chief scout. I was absolutely exhausted because I didn't want to bring a wrong one into the club. It's more about the people you get rather than how good they are. They got to be the right people. And there was game after game after game. We won 1 and drew 1 out of the 8, and I was exhausted. That was the end of my job there, you know. But I swear to you, it was the media coverage that at that level is
magnified,
absolutely excruciatingly energy sapping, you know. Everything was about Wilfred. What about Wilfred? What about the rest of my team? And you could see a couple of my interviews. I'm getting pissy as hell with these. Fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? It ain't just him, you know. You know, like, pick him up. Say, what about the rest of the team, you idiot? But what you can't, and honestly, you end up getting right up yourself if you ain't careful, you know. And the thing for me, I've always managed to laugh at myself because I got this intenseness about myself that it's never good enough. But you know, when I was at school, big nose this, big nose that, I had better jokes about me hooter than anyone else did because I could laugh at myself. And then when they couldn't laugh, when I give it back to them, oh, what's wrong with you? Got no so my sense of humour in my life has really helped me deal with all sorts of stuff. So it's about getting the balance right of what you do, why you do it, who you are, where you're going, and who you get around you. And it's trying to keep that balance right with the media coverage, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Hence, we're doing things like this. It's getting bigger. People want that in their lives, don't they? So
it must have been hard when you talk about getting that belief over at QPR when you first went, and it's chaos. You know, lads potentially not getting paid. Yeah. The administrators coming in. How do you sit down with lads and say, listen, well, you might not be getting paid? Yeah,
that was really difficult. Really difficult. I lost my job at Bristol Rovers. Jerry Francis was getting it. He helped me get the QPR job, but the administrators kicking in was like hilarious, really, because I didn't know it was happening, and the lads could see.
When you took the job?
Yeah, when I took the job, I didn't know it was going to happen, and then about 4 or 5 weeks later, Jerry went, I think Chris Wright's going bust. It's like really, really straining and that. So they're going to call in the administrator. So I didn't have a clue. So anyway, we're out in training, come back in, blokes in suits come in, got to sort of sit down at dinner time. And Gavin Peacock was my captain, you know, real good player, ex-Chelsea and all that. So best, highest paid player. So he said, well, what's all this about? You know, and the bloke went, well, we're in administration, so all of you might not get paid. And Gavin went, well, yeah, but I'm the head of the PFA. And he went, well, okay, I'll just give you an example. Then we might have a look at your wages and say, we're not going to pay you. You'll have to stay at home. And Gavin sort of backed off and hit a wall before he stopped. I went, whoa, sit down. I said, mate, sorry, you're talking out your ass. He went, well, I said, no, you might be an administrator in other businesses, but these lads got contracts which are legal and binding, so you won't be able to do that. I said, Gav, go out now, go and ring the PFA, tell them what this bloke's talking about, because he's talking shit. Right? So I sat back down. I still got mud all over me from the training, you know. Nick Blackburn was the acting chairman, and he went, oh, Ollie, I said, look, Nick, what this bloke's talking about is bollocks. It's never been done before, it's bullshit, it ain't going to happen. Because the PFA won't let him. I said, just leave it. Anyway, Gavin come back in, you got to have a meeting on Monday, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we were in the shit, and everybody was talking about it all the time. So what I decided to do was I did a bit of research, and I found an American positive thinking fella called Jack Canfield. that had this 3-day presentation. So I thought, right, went to the club. I said, I know we're skint, but Chris, let me spend this to get their mind right. I said, I think it'll be really good for all of us. So the senior ones it worked a treat with. We had 3 days education on how your mind works, where you might be, and how positive thinking can really help you. One of the things was we had 2 lads stood there. One had headphones on and we were talking to him. One were saying, you're shit, you're useless, you're crap, you're fucking useless, you're rubbish, you're fucking right, absolutely, totally the most negative things you could ever have. So he's standing there like that, that's all he can hear. The other bloke, you're fantastic, you're brilliant, you can really do that. So anyway, what they did, they knew it, right? They asked you to hold your arms up, right? So these muscles on the side ain't very strong, right? So the one who was pumped with all the good stuff held his arms out for a lot longer when everybody tried to pull him down. The other bloke went straight away. It was a tested thing that worked. And so I said, let's think about all the negatives we're having in a minute. Let's change it into positives. You know, we can use this. We can use this to turn our crowd with us by the way we do things. Because QPR fans at that time, we were a famous club, a big club, and we were in the shit. We were sinking.
You're not famous anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Peterborough away, lost 4-1. Danny Shittu's debut got him on loan, right? Because the end of that season, we had 7 players, no staff, no goalkeeper signed on, 2 long-term injuries, which was 2 of my best players, Clark Carlisle and Richard Langley. So I had to try and build a squad with being in administration. I had to get rid of all the young lads because they all had 5-year contracts. I had to offer them 25% of that contract, otherwise the club would go bust. Luckily, talked them into taking it so we could then gradually move forward. But it was all about mindset, and the mindset of being half full, not half empty, which I've believed in all my life. So I was only talking from my belief that I was given as a kid. So it was real. I was talking real things, reality. They said we might go bust, we might have to go to Wimbledon. I went, we're not doing this. This is our cave, we're not leaving here. And all the fans loved it because it was real. I was authentically speaking how I was brought up.
So all the fans sort of realised that, right, the lads are not getting paid or there's whatever's happening at the club, but they're still busting the balls, and that got them on board with you as a team and use it as a positive and sort of got a good feeling around the club from that.
Yeah, it took us 3 years to get back up in the end, but managed to talk people into coming who might not be paid. Luckily for us, we were paid, but at that time we might not have been. You know, Kenny Jackett was my assistant, and I told him the truth. He went, "No, this is a great club. We'll be all right." So anyway, right at the end of it, when we were doing well, with 6 games to go before we got promoted, he had to take a job at Swansea because I asked them to give him a new contract to secure him, otherwise I might lose him, and they didn't do it. So Ken said, look, I said, Ken, you got to go and take that one, mate, if they can't guarantee you after what you've done. So he went and got the Swansea job, and I had 6 games on me Jack Jones to try and keep us going.
You're not just managing, are you? You're going from finances to mindset coach to looking after the players. You're doing everything.
Yeah, but that was it. My upbringing was at Bristol Rovers, so they ran it like we were in administration. So and I was on every single board meeting about every single thing because they wanted to stop me getting ambitious too much. You know?
Yeah.
So
you knew how shit it actually were.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like the Men in Black. You can't tell the fans sometimes how bad it is because you're almost that close to going shit or bust nearly all the time. You know, like you need a cup run. Oh, you need a cup run. You need a cup run. That was the worst thing at Bristol Rovers. You need a cup run. You need a cup run. We lose to Exeter 2-1 at our ground. I got man of the match, but then I had to go in the boardroom and explain why we lost. I went, do me a favour. What fucking more do you want? There's a fucking trophy. I can't, you know what I mean? Yeah, but we need a cut run. I went, well, get some more money from somewhere else. We're not on the cut run. We weren't good enough to win. Yeah, but that's embarrassing. I said, it's not embarrassing. They're another team. They played better than us. But what more do you want me to do? I got a man of match trophy. I couldn't have done much more out there. But how bad is that, innit? And it was every year, cup run. You know what I mean? Actually, a cup is a bonus competition. Depends who we draw, depends how far we go, but I can't guarantee you winning them. But that's how... Look, let's face it, in the next few years, Bury ain't going to be the only club that goes bust, in my opinion. The whole thing's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
All the money's at the top, and they control the game, so it's a little bit worrying for the rest of us. But
Did you see the video of the Chichester, was it? When they got a bye?
Yeah.
But getting a lot of stick for it, you know.
Yeah.
no, I didn't see that.
I think they've actually said they're going to give Bury some money, though,
Yeah,
haven't
they did. But because obviously during the draw, there was always going to be one team that gets a bye.
Yeah.
Bury dropped out, and all the players are in the room, and they've gone. It was like they won the cup. They're getting the bye. But
So they're in the second round proper now, are they?
yeah,
Yeah. But they are.
But they were
What league are they in?
eighth tier or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
that's
it's something
brilliant.
like 37 grand, you know, though, for playing in the second round of the cup.
Yeah.
Which to them,
Yeah, it's massive.
that's probably, that could be 6 months' money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a chance of getting a decent.
A decent draw and a good game out of it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if your owners kept pumping money in and kept pumping money in, so there was none of this threat ever? But that ain't the way.
Yeah, it's unrealistic.
They're all
innit?
businessmen. They take over and they try and run it as a business. Some of them actually take money out. Let's not go there, but
Can of worms, innit?
Okay, we're getting sued left, right, and centre.
no, but that's you know, I was talking about Blackpool because that was proven. But oh my God, what a laugh!
We'll get onto that in a bit.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of questions about that.
I think just about that mindset at QPR, we had Clark Carlisle with us the other week, and his words were that at that time you saved him. Were his words?
Not just his career, by the way.
No.
No, I think
Personally.
my lads did that. The way my lads were, his teammates, they were a very special group. We built it. They were the ones who were very, very concerned about him. I basically just bullied him into a situation where I could get him to admit he was in trouble, because I knew he was. My lads were telling me that he's trying to put his shorts on and falling over and there must be something wrong. But I did some research myself to try and find out what it might be. Looked like it might be some personal issues, and found out that he has to admit it. It's no good me telling him. He had to admit it. So I tried to get him to admit it, and in the end, luckily, he did, and we found him some help. But to this day, that help is not guaranteed for footballers. It's a charity-run thing. How can that be? Why isn't the
amount of money that's in it.
Yeah, why isn't the Football Association taking over that and making sure that these lads have somewhere to go? How tough is it mentally? 2 ways to be fit, physically and mentally fit. Everybody looks physically fit, all these players these days. How do we know what they're like mentally? You know, we all had to show mental strength when we were growing up to actually make it. All of us. There was a bullying environment as an apprentice, and God knows what. You had to overcome all of that. On the terraces these days, you know, everybody's shouting about, oh, this and that, and isn't it terrible? You know, we should walk off. Well, some of us with big hooters were getting hammered up for years and years.
All big bellies.
Yeah, but that's life, you know. And really, you either sink or swim. So, you know, hopefully, in the future, my grandchildren, if they ever get to want to be a footballer, it should be things in place to make sure that they are protected, you know. So
it annoys me a little bit with it, because it's recently been Mental Health Day or Mental Health Week, and everyone seems to come out for that particular day or week. I don't know what it is, but then it's the rest of the time when, like you say, they're not getting a lot of help. You know, it's all right bringing everything up for one day, but.
Well, I was fortunately on Talk Sport the other day, and I chatted to a fella from Mind, who again is an association which is a charity. How can it be charity led? Look how much money's in the game, right? And how come there is not every club having a fella who's checking, or a lady who's checking that you're mentally all right, who you could go to in a place to talk about how you feel mentally.
Have it accessible, so that the option is there should you need it.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
like you said about Clarkey, it's all right being there, but you've got to know you want to talk about it yourself.
Yeah, Yeah, but
the thing is, if somebody who's training that, even if they just sit in the corner at dinner, and they might be able to see and think, I need to keep an eye on that lad.
Yeah.
I need to
Exactly.
I need to just keep a close eye on him because something's not right.
Did you have a bit about you as a manager knowing that as well though? Could you look at a player and go, he's not quite right?
Yeah, you end up seeing those things. You do, and you're supposed to be with your family. You're having a meal, and I'm thinking about, well, he didn't look right today. And sometimes my wife Kim had said, "Are you with me or what?" Oh, sorry, because you can't help it, you know. And the scary thing is if someone ends up injured physically, that's fine. You got physio, you got a whole team you give him to, right? They end up mentally in trouble. You call them weak. You throw them out normally. That shouldn't be how it is in this century where we are right now. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Not
I
with the
imagine
knowledge.
some managers could have done that with Clark.
100%.
I think the thing that it was a stigma back then because you're always thinking about your next contract. So if I go and see my manager and I say, look, I'm really struggling and I've got 6 months left on my deal, you're thinking, is he going to offer me a new contract here because of how I am and what I've told him? So you box it up for another 6 months, hopefully get a new contract, and that's the thing with it.
That's the danger. What you've just said there, box it up. That's exactly what it is. And sometimes that lid, in Clark's case, he couldn't handle it
Pressure
anymore.
builds and then the lid
But
blows
what
off.
we needed to do was find him somewhere to go where for whatever it is, it might be a gambling addiction, you know, it might be all sorts of any sort of addiction. We don't know enough about it. We need to put them with like-minded people who know how to deal with it, because that's what we should do. You know what I mean? We have a duty of care to our players. First off, you make sure that they're sorted as well as you would want from your organisation, and then they'll give you that back when they trust you. It's not just paying them the money. It shouldn't be about that. It should be what the club does for them, right? While they're playing, before, when they're young, teaching them the right rules, like Bristol Rovers did for me and a lot of other people. They made us be professional. They made us train properly. They made us mentally strong enough to deal with it all. And then, you know, during your playing career, you want them, any problems with your family, I would take over those problems. Come and tell me, I'll help you. I didn't see it as a weakness. I wanted the club to be somewhat special to play for. And then at the end of it all, you should have a players' lounge where ex-players are there all the time and getting paid. You know what I mean? It should be, we should have a profession and you should be proud of what you've done for your clubs long term to show the young fellas, you know? That's what it should be. But football, for me, is far too instant, a bit like a coffee we had just now. Pouring the hot water, it's all gone. You know, expecting it quickly. Like, oh, you're getting sacked in the morning. It's all bullshit, in my opinion, right? To be somewhat special, I think Klopp's making it. Look how I care for you. Look at this club. Look at who you're playing for.
But I'll go back to the two fullbacks when they played in that game and won, and then the next game you put the other two fullbacks in. I think because players liked and respected you, they'd accept that from you. Because there'll be some players who'll be like furious that they've got dropped for big games and stuff like that. But if you like and respect your manager and realise just a good guy in general, you will say, well, fair enough, he's dropped me, I'm not going to fucking kick up a fuss and all that. But that's the respect that you earn as being a human being to start with, and helping people, even if he's not helping you specifically. Your pal next year sat in dressing room, okay, I went to see the gaffer and I've got the XYZ and he's helped me out and everything's getting sorted. You're going to think, fucking what a guy he is.
People remember that.
Yeah, but what I wanted to do was, once I sat behind that desk, I wanted to be the fella that I wanted sat opposite me telling him my problems to help me with it. Because when I was playing, I had enough problems. We had 4 kids under 4, and my earnings weren't very good, and we were being half successful under Jerry Francis, and I forced myself to try and get a better deal. And in the end, I had to leave the club to get a better deal. But you know, my situation had changed so drastically And my chairman said, well, why should I give you a new deal? You've had all the fun. Why have I got to pay for it? Because my wife was pregnant with twins. You know what I mean? Jesus. Well, have you seen how we've improved? So, you know, but that's life. Because we were... It's like a microwave, isn't it? We have to earn money to get by the time... Because we end up... Our bodies won't let us play anymore. So then I've had an elongated period where I've had 20 years of being a manager because I felt... I missed the game so much and I wanted to help people because not too many people helped me. When my wife had cancer and when I had glandular fever. I had to deal with those issues, you know. Then I had deaf kids and I had to try and work that out. So I've had some things on my plate that I would want help from my manager. Luckily, Jerry Francis helped me all he could, which was different class. But not everybody did. Harry Bassett was brilliant. Dave Bassett. Told you the truth. I ain't sure about you, Stinger. I ain't sure you're that good. I think Dennis Wise is better than you. But my scout tells me you're all right, so I'll have you. Turns out he was right. Wise, he was better than me.
You're a good chief scout.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's how honest that you want it to be. So, you know, you got choices to make and you don't always get them right when you're... Particularly when you're getting older, I started to think about when I was 30, you know, hang on a minute, how much longer have I got left? You know, how much longer am I, God, where's my career going here? What am I going to do after? You start worrying, you know, and I know I did, but I decided to try and do something about it and then cling on to that being part of something. You know, I think going back in my story, my brother's 9 years older than me. My dad forced him into a football kit. And we didn't have any money, so it was a knitted one. My mum knitted it. Anyway, when
I bet that was fucking itchy one.
Yeah,
Just started sweating
when it rained, he was in bits. But literally, he tried a different thing when I came along. I hope you like football, son, because through it you'll meet some wonderful people. That's what he said. And you'll find yourself. It's difficult on your own. You'll be part of something. If you're part of that team, and as long as you never give up, like that character you've got, then you'll have a value, son. So he helped me. He made my life easy, but I wanted to please him. So right from the off, I knew what I wanted to do. I was told I wasn't going to never do it. He was too little. Is that your boy, Bill? Oh, he's too small. So on the night, I was hanging from the door frame. Dad said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, your mate said I'm too small." "Don't worry, you'll be all right." You know what I mean? My mum said, "Oh, best things come in little packages." I got a fantastic Willie. No, that's my boy. My boy's called Will. But I've been fortunate. I've thoroughly enjoyed what I've done. And would I do it all again? Yeah. Would I change it? No, I wouldn't. No. Really made some bad decisions, but that's life and it makes you who you are. So, you know, bring it all on, innit? You know, again, we're all sat here. We've had the trials and tribulations of playing. Now we're trying to find our life without it, and it's not easy. There's too many. I don't think enough's done for ex-players who have not gained from the experience that others have lived through, you know, where they end up arguing with their wives. They don't know who they are anymore. We were talking off air about what it's like when you have to pack in and then you haven't got any adulation anymore. You almost become that career that you were, and you've got no personality without that shirt on. It's all wrong. Yeah,
you lose who you are, and
it's all wrong, you know, because it's not easy doing it. And then, you know, there should be a continuation of it. And really, we don't meet anyone else. If you're a chippy, if you're a plumber, you meet other people on site in the bit, and then you'll gain other bits of knowledge. We're just football people who are
in that bubble for however many years,
and then it goes. You know, hopefully you'll find other things and you'll be able to pass on your knowledge, which I don't think is enough. You know, because we got so many other foreign people infiltrating our country and taking over roles, and you know, but maybe some of our lads don't want to do it anyway. You know, it's fine. But I miss being part of a team, and I always have, and I always will. I needed that from a very young age to make me who I am. I needed to be part of a team, and I needed my team to grow, and I needed them to take responsibility. You know, and luckily, a few things have gone wrong, but I ended up at Blackpool where I met a group of people who was just perfect. They all were there for the right reasons. They all wanted to learn and grow together and keep working hard, and we were in a period of energy that was just sensational for everybody in the area.
I mean, when we had Brett on, and you led on to a little bit off air about when you left Leicester, you just decided to just change your mentality straight away about you want to focus on attacking football. Was obviously you mentioned the lads at Blackpool had bought into it. How easy was it to go from being defensive, because you said yourself you were quite defensive, you focused on defensive, to all of a sudden it's a bit of a risk, but you just thought, nah, fuck it, I'm going to go focus on how I want to play the game?
Yeah, I made some terrible mistakes. I had a real good group who were listening very, very well, with Paul Wotton in it and Lillian Nallis down at Plymouth, and we had some talent and everything, but I couldn't manage upwards there. I wanted us to keep moving forward, and I got that wrong. I showed my team that I was unhappy with the people above me, and then I left. So I went from there to Leicester, and it all went horribly wrong for me. Right, so
had you got a Blackpool type group at Plymouth then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great set of lads.
Absolutely.
Thing is, if you're in Plymouth, your next stop's fucking Africa, innit? You've got to buy into it. While you're there,
may as well have a bash.
You might as well have a bash while you're there, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You're in there. I imagine everybody lives in the area, so it must be easier to build that. Like going out for meals and whatever with the players wise. You're in Plymouth, you're all in it together.
We had David Norris on, didn't we? And he said that his first reaction was, I'm not going to Plymouth, it's in the middle of bloody nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Until he met you and you persuaded him to...
Well, Tony Pugh
it's
had
not in the middle of nowhere, it's the fucking end of nowhere.
To be fair, Tony Pulis was the one who saved them going down, right? And he then left and went to Stoke, and I was on gardening leave from QPR, and I had an interview with their board. Really liked it, really liked them. One of the directors won in the interview process. He was the one I hated in the end. He was the one I was struggling with. So David Norris was the pinnacle of all of it. Pew came in and offered 1.5 million quid. We said no. We were fourth in the table at the time, and I said, give him a new deal. And they said, no. And I said, you're wrong, right? He's worth 1.5 million. He was on $2,000 a week. I said, we got to give him 4 because that's what Stoke would be paying him. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you we're towards the top of the league. You can sell him in the summer. I asked him not to go, and you need to reward him right now, right? You need to reward him. This stupid director said, oh no, how's that going to go with the rest of them? Oh, I don't agree with that, and the lads won't like it. I went, don't tell me how to run the business. I'm saying reward him now. Anyone else comes in and moans about it, he's playing so much better than everybody else. I'll say, well, when I get an offer for 1.5 million for you, I'll pay you the same as him. Off out of my offer. So I had this idiot telling me what I should do. So my wife's mum was dying at the time. So my wife was trying to look after her, and I just got really angry. So in the end, instead of taking all of that the way I should, I demanded they give him a new deal. They didn't do it. I demanded they gave some of my staff a better deal. They didn't do it. They offered me a new deal, and I told them to fuck off. Because they told me in my interview that we will always take the club forward. It's not about us. So I said, stop worrying about the ground and start building this team. This team will pay for the ground. And unfortunately, I couldn't get David Norris a new deal, so Norwich City and Leicester were both up. I said to the press, Norwich aren't in for me, but I didn't tell them about Leicester. Mm-hmm. So really, I got what I deserved in the end. That's how I feel. Karma. That team was doing whatever I wanted, and I should have stayed with them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes other things get in the way. So, that loyalty and the honesty, the purity that the Plymouth fans have, I didn't carry on talking about them and working for them. I should have. I let them down. I should have done that for that team. Anyway,
You've got to be selfish at times, though.
Luckily for me, I found another group like them in Blackpool. You know, and then I'd learnt from what they did there, and I was going to let nothing stop us.
Was it just the players at Leicester? Did you know straight away that the players...
I had 70 odd players. I never knew. I didn't look into what Leicester had done. Milan Mandaric was spending a fortune, and I had a goalie, Douglas, Rab Douglas, lovely fella, came to me and said, I'm not going out on loan, I'm just going to take his money. I got another 2 years, I'm just going to take his money, because he should have never given me that contract.
were you happy? Were you alright with that?
Yeah, of course I was. You know, what could I do? He just told me. I
like your honesty, Rab. I like your honesty.
Yeah, but how great's that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of that going on. But anyway, the whole point is, was I ready for a club the size of that? No. What I tried to do, we got relegated. I tried to get that down, stop adding to it to try and, you know, and Nigel Pearson took over and got them promoted, and then, you know, look, I'm delighted for all those supporters. They deserve that. But at that time, I was a mistake for them. What I had to do was sit down and learn from that, right? What I wanted to do came from where we had one game at Plymouth where we were playing Cardiff. They were top of the league at the time, and we're 3-0 down at half time. No, 2-0 down at half time. Then they score. I give a big team talk. They score about a minute into the start of the second half. I thought, right, I'm going to have to change this. So I was tinkering in my mind with going 3 up front, 3 in midfield, having Lily and Alice just sat there and pinging it around. So anyway, I changed to that. My mate who was coaching with me, Des Ballpin, said, what are you doing? I said, we've lost it. Come on. Anyway, we get back to 3-3. Should have won 4-3. Right, but I went 4-3-3, 2 centre halves, pushed the full-backs in, had Lillian sat just in front, and it all worked a treat. So I was tinkering with doing this then. So I had a year out where I sat down and I went and watched Spain, and I looked at how they trained. I watched their brilliant team, and I felt that their practices were perfect for them. So I tried to change my practices, and I wrote down some where I wanted the ball and how we were going to move and practice, and then hit these long diagonals and get in one side if you can, get it switched. And then I looked at the teams that had no managers, and I looked at Blackpool and I looked at what they got. I thought, that's the team I want.
Really?
Yeah, that's the team.
Do you think that year out was good for you, in a way? Because
absolutely,
you could have jumped straight into another job, couldn't you?
Yeah, but absolutely, because I came up with not just a defensive plan. When their right backs got it, I want my right winger back in, my left winger engaging with him, 4-4-2. I had to throw another plan with a front three. You've already got 4 there if your winger engages, right? So you need him to push on. So I didn't let him come back. If their fullback went on, if we win it, I'll have him in. So it was a bit of a gambler, you know.
Change your whole philosophy then, really.
Totally. Absolutely, yeah. And I realised if I'd have done that with my QPR team, I'd have had Paul Furlong up front, Gareth Ainsworth on the right hand side, who used to struggle getting back in all the time, and I used to spend hours and hours teaching him how to do what he's not good at. How stupid a manager is that? Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
If I'd have gone to his strength, look, Gareth, he's got the ball, you can just stay there, you can hang around. But if your bloke gets it, you got to work. And then the other one, Lee Cook, he could have stood there on the left and we could have found him. God, what? Kevin Gallen could have dropped off. You know, Martin Ronans could have been my right fullback. Good God, and we got promoted with that team. But how much better could we have been?
But you had to do that to get to where.
I had to do that. But you know, at the end of the day, it's still the whole secret to life. I think is realizing what you're good at, what you're strong at, and then looking at what you're not doing very well and accepting it and owning it, and then doing something about it.
Yeah.
So I went away and drew out what I wanted to do. Again, it was Gary Penrise's influence who said, look, you're getting too negative. You've always been artistic. Why don't you create something going forward? Go and watch Swansea. So I watched Swansea 5 times and I thought, shit, their right winger would come back behind his fullback, get it and ping it over to the left winger. I thought, I want some of this. Because you couldn't get a ball off them.
Yeah, horrible weren't it,
to play against.
Innit? And really, that was me. I wanted to wear you out. Because when I went to Spain, it's like bullfighting. They just lure the ball in, don't they? wee, and it's horrible. But in the end of the day, they're just humiliating. They didn't want to just beat you; they want to humiliate you. Little tippy tappy football everywhere, but it was all about numbers, and that's when I realised it's like a game of chess. It's all about wherever you put the ball, you have to have a higher numeration of people than them, and then you can go and win it back. And that's what I love about the game. It's changing all the time. And at the minute, my old man, I remember talking to him, outside right, inside right, centre forward, inside left, outside left. So we were talking a W formation all those years ago. So football just goes round. It's like, you know, have you got baggy jeans on, or have you got skin tight ones, you got skinny ones? It's all goes round and round and round. You're not reinventing the wheel, but it's just marvellous. So what I found was a group of people who I could influence. And I could influence them because the owner was so horrible, but he was so straight with me. He made me believe, like Jerry Francis did, you're not going to get a sack, son, as long as you don't take us down in this division. Don't care what you do, but I'm not paying more than I'm saying unless you can prove that it's worth that.
Yeah.
And I'll always listen, but then I'll argue with you and tell you to fuck off. So I knew exactly where I stood with him. That made me the person I wanted to be. So I had no fear of up there, and I used to say, right, I'm not taking any excuses. I don't want to hear any bullshit, right? I ain't come all the way up here to leave my wife and family down there every fucking 7 days, and then they only see them 7 days. I ain't come up here to waste my time. I want to play a Premier League way. I want to train like the Spaniards do, and I want you to shut up and listen and do it. Right? If you don't want to do it, I'll get someone else who can. Because I believe this is the way. And then I would go through it, and this is what we did with Tomo, right? How can we get them in habits so we do it on a regular basis? So almost every day we'd do half an hour of pattern, but we'd vary that pattern. Sometimes it was marked, sometimes it was not marked. And then sometimes I'd have music playing so they got in a rhythm. And then I'd practice them hitting them long balls. So I'd take the back four and have the two wingers doing the runs, so no midfield. The midfield would do keep ball, right? And they would work with the other centre forwards. They would be doing crosses. So I would be working on my structure in the shape that we were doing it, on the real size pattern that it would be. They were in real passes, so they were practicing to get better.
What music did you go for?
Oh,
R&B?
Yeah, sometimes it was R&B, sometimes it was McFadden and Whitehead and
no
stopping. I could do that. We're on the move. But you know, it's a little bit different, you know. And then if like it was in Blackpool, sometimes the weather would take over. We just jog down the calf and I'd buy 'em a bloody breakfast, you know. It wasn't about that. And if I was enjoying what I was doing, it normally rubbed off on them, as long as they were on time and being respectful. And I had a group that would probably tell Charlie more than anyone, fucking get here, the gaffer will kill you. Because Charlie was cheeky Charlie, when he, a little bit, you know what I mean, a little bit like that. We didn't have too many. Maybe DJ, when he came up there, was a little bit cheeky as well, and I'd probably let them get away with one or two bits. But you know what I mean, what can you do with Brett Ormerod and Ben Burgess and Gary Taylor Fletcher? They all wanted to get better. They all wanted to do something. And as the owner said, you're only here because you failed somewhere else, the fucking lot of you. So shut the fuck up. And if you're being honest,
that ruthless?
yeah. He said to Charlie, you failed at fucking Glasgow Rangers. Shut your mouth. Gaffer's going to try and help you. You're only going to get that. And if you do get us promoted, then you'll get that extra bonus, which you think you should be on that a week. Well, where's everybody fucking queuing up to buy you then?
Do you think I'm sure we tried to buy him.
We could have got him for 500 grand, I think.
Do you think it helped separating you and the lads from the owners in terms of mentality? Because Brett said that Oyston, that 5 million quid, and you said to the lads, we're going to take his fucking money.
Yeah. Some of my team talk, so I just wrote 5 million on fucking when there's a thing about judgment and it's not fair, right? I've always been up for that as a kid, right? And it started, I got a brother 9 years older than me, sister 6 years older than me. They used to get more pocket money than me. So no matter what I did, my dad said, well, you're the youngest, so I'm sorry, you're only going to get that. Well, I've done more jobs in it. He said, that's just the way of the world. Life ain't fair. Fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Right? So I took great umbrage at that. That was never right, never fair. He said, your brother, I ask him to look after you because you're the youngest, so shut up. That's bigger responsibility. Your sister looks after you when your brother can't do it, so shut up. She deserves more money than you because you're the bottom of the tree, so deal with it, right? That's how I was brought up. So when Blackpool, I'm not getting fair, it's not fair, it's not this, it's not that. I said, I don't care. I borrowed you from Leicester, they weren't going to play you, so we're only going to pay half your money. That's their fault. Shut up and deal with it. You want to get more money, then you play really well here, like we were all doing, and then we'll get it off of him because it's there, sat there, waiting for us to be successful. And as a test, that's how I was tested. It ain't how good you are right now, it's how good you're going to be. Mm-hmm. And that was the whole point of it. Where it went wrong was when I promised Charlie, if we can't get there with you, I'll get you there first. So he had a thing written in his contract that was top 6 side come in for you, then you can go. Not about how much it was, but a top 6 side. Liverpool came in for him, who were 7th at the time. So Charlie wanted to go, and Carl, get 6 million for him. We've only 18 months ago bought him for 500. You know, he's our best player now. That's not a top 6 side. They're 7th. Fuck off out my office.
He said that to you?
No, I was in there trying to help Charlie get what he wanted, right? My fans thought it's because I had a bonus. I never got 1 penny for anybody who I improved because the way Carl Oyston worked it out, he took anybody who failed as losses away from what I've done and how much I paid them, so I got no fucking money in the end. I thought I had a 5% increase on anybody. I never got fucking 1 penny of it. So Charlie sat there arguing with his agent. He wants to go to Liverpool. They've offered nearly 6 million quid. And the owner said, no, I don't think I'm not going to do it. And I haven't broke my word because they're 7th. They're not in the top 6.
See, I would have thought it'd have fucking snapped their hand off. If somebody in 12th would have offered that much, with the way that people talk about him. No,
he didn't want to do what I was going to do with the money.
Right.
We had, I was going to make DJ a full signing, give David Vaughan a new contract. There was another one I had on loan I was going to make and I was going to buy another player. So he didn't want to commit to what I was going to do with the 6 million.
Just going back out again.
Yeah, he didn't want to commit to that, which I can understand in a way. But the whole point was, if we lose our best players, he wanted me to go back down with a better team. And he felt, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to give you that, you know. And I said, well, you got your parachute payments anyway. Let's just spend the money that we've made on Charlie.
Yeah, we've got him.
And God knows what would have happened then, you know. God knows what. We almost had Jamie Vardy as well because Leicester came in, but he didn't believe they paid 1.6 million. What a signing that would have been for. And Mickey Mellon, to be fair, was at Fleetwood at the time. He said, Ollie, this kid's going to play for England. How right was Mick?
Hey, believe it, I'm wrong though. I was his replacement at Fleetwood. The self-fucking Jamie Vardy and fetched John Parkin in. Mickey got sacked 4 months later.
Big man, you let him down.
I just couldn't run in the channels for him.
Yeah. One of my favourite ever stories was when you're at Blackpool, the croupier. Did he come and train?
Yeah, well, at the hotel, yeah. Well, you can never. That story is true because he looked fit. He was a nice kid. No, he was a nice kid. And we were going to do some training anyway, so I said, just bring your boots along. The lads, obviously, I don't think they thought I was taking a piss, but if you go back in our history, we had Nigel Martin at Bristol Rovers turn up with a shopping bag, Tesco, with fucking boots in. And he went, Vi Harris, your tea lady, said I should come for a trial. So we let him have a trial, right? We had Nicky Carter, who was a goalie at the time. Timmy Carter, a goalie at the time, and he's a brilliant goalie. And even Nigel took his place. We couldn't beat him. Unbelievable. You wouldn't believe a story like that, so you never know what's going to happen.
So you had a belief that you just never know.
You never know. Well, I saw it with my own eyes. He walked in, bang, ended up the world's dearest goalkeeper, going to Crystal Palace for £1 million. less than 2 years later. It's unreal. And he walked in looking like a complete numpty. No, seriously.
Carrier bag.
With a carrier bag, yeah, and his boots were like turned up at the bottom. Do you know what I mean? His toes, it was awful. But anyway, I mean, what a story. Could you believe that? But that was Bristol Rovers for you. We ended up taking people from non-league, and Gary Penrose was Mangotsfield. Nicky Tanner was Mangotsfield, ended up getting sold to Liverpool. You know, it's unreal. Phil Purnell was playing in that level. He come and we won the second division. The
so
title.
you were just literally over a game of roulette, and was he?
He didn't make it. The kid didn't make it. But you can't ever say never, can you? Do you know what I mean?
That's brilliant.
What number? Ollie, what number do you want? 7.
Yeah.
There we go.
Gets a trial.
Come in the morning, love. Well, I'll get that fucking icing to give you a deal.
Yeah, well, I knew I couldn't do that. That's the problem. But my life was simple then, and I honestly believe if you can make life simple, coaches sometimes we make it really complicated. You don't understand, so give them a simple thing to stick to, and make sure you're consistent in the practice and in what you say, and then people will believe in you. They will trust you, because at the end of the day, how many managers have you lost trust with because you don't believe a word they're saying because they don't believe it themselves?
When they change, swapping and changing.
Exactly.
When the results are not going there, I don't want them to, and they start doing different stuff. You're like, 2 weeks ago you were telling me this.
Yeah.
So it was wrong right then, but wrong now.
Yeah, but I've been like that in the past. With Carl Oyston, I never felt like that. When you doubt yourself like I've done all my life, I've had a constant battle with my own head. And I've had a meeting at Plymouth where I said, lads, let's face it, we've all got 2 voices in our head. I can do that. No, I'm not sure I can. That's doubt. That's doubts. You got to deal with your own doubts. You got to believe. You got to start giving positive things. Like, and I mean it. You actually, if you ask the universe, I want something, it only gives you that wanting. It won't give you it. You got to, I'm going to get that. It's a totally different mindset. I'm going to do that. That's what we're going to do. Can you see that there? That's where we're going. And I told him to put things on the fridge, cut out a little like Premier League thing, stick it on the fridge. That's where we're going. And that's what, I don't want it. That's where we're going. That's what we're going to achieve. So it's a totally different, I am telling the universe that's what we're going to do. Right? It's a big difference. When I started doing that, things started to happen. Right? If you want something, I want to be, that's all it gives you, that want. You will never achieve it. You can't see it. If you can't see it, what comes first? Seeing it or doing it? Got to be seeing it. It's got to be.
Because I think Brett said, didn't he? When you said that's where we're going up.
Yeah.
I think you said the lads were like,
He's fucking mad, this guy.
fucking winding me up.
The truth is, they finished 16th the year before, and they all thought they'd done well. Right? What they were thinking, they did well because it wasn't expected. Their manager left. Parks took over and was, this is always a selling club, blah blah blah, which is fine. But they got promoted the year before, and they stayed in the championship then. So I said, well, that ain't good enough, is it? I think you're a lot better than this, all of you. How can you be happy with 16th? So I tried to change the mindset of what we're doing, and this is the training, and I made everything directional. So if you play a keep ball and you can go anywhere, you got no aim. So we had to get it one end and then turn around and get it back the other end and then back. So you had a drive. So that was us changing it. Right? We were changing the switch from one side of the pitch to the other. And then I do it a different way where you had to get over the line. So so everything was geared to practicing what we needed to do on a Saturday. So, and funny enough, Mickey Mellon was at Fleetwood, and he used to come along during the day, and so I could bounce off of him. Now, I think Mick's a brilliant fella, fantastic coach. And, how do you think this, or why do you think that? And I could bounce it off of him. And I was that determined, writing it back. And I was going to make sure, after a week, Steve Thompson, Gaffer, are you sure they can do this? I said, if they can, I'm going to get someone who can. And the funny thing was, we had a young centre-half who could hit a fantastic diagonal. So I said, you can't do that then, ever. Well, I said, come here, son. Hit that diagonal, will you? Bang. I said, if you can't do it, I might play him. I said, you can fucking do it.
seed has been planted.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology. So did everyone bust his balls to practice?
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Because I'd let them go forward. And what I'm saying is, I said, whoever goes somewhere, as long as we fill in his position, it doesn't matter who's there, does it? As long as we keep the same structure.
A little bit like Sheffield United now, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
With their with their centre halves bombing on and.
Well, again, I mean, what I like is anybody. If you have a vision, you have to believe in it and make it happen. And if you look at Wilder, Chris, everywhere he's been a success. Every single place he's been. He hasn't failed once.
Yeah.
So he must be better at dealing with people than me. Because I've been places and I won't change. Like, I'd have got under your fucking skin to make sure you turned up earlier because I demand that of you. Whereas he might have allowed you that a little bit more than I would.
The only problem is if I'd have got in earlier, I'd have probably had 2 breakfasts instead of one. I'd have had one at 8:30 and one at 9:45.
Double-edged sword, isn't it?
So you're getting me in earlier, but I'm having 2 breakfasts.
They said there's a fine line between insanity and genius. And some of the stories that we've heard about team talks, the Teddies, was it David Norris said that he came in and did a team talk in sign language and then just walked out and said it was all about communication. But is the method in that madness?
Yeah, for me, you got to be part of the move, whether you're in it or not. So if you can see that he's on over there and you ain't telling him, you're a fucking idiot. Because I want you to be part of building it. So I kept on at them. You're not talking enough. You're not talking enough. You're not talking enough. You're not. They would rely on Paul Wotton to tell them where to go. He's like bossing them. I went, Woods, you shut up today, and the rest of you start speaking. So in the end, I banned them from saying a word. It was impossible. Stop, right? Every time any one of you said anything.
For a shock tactic.
It was reverse psychology. In other words, I want you to fucking speak, and you're not doing it. So right, you're not allowed to. And then they couldn't shut the fuck up then. So I ran them. I ran them until they... So when I say run, it's fucking horrible. 18-yard box to 18-yard box and back as fast as you can. 18-yard box to halfway line and back as fast as you can. Sometimes it's double. Sometimes it's all like up, back, 4 of them. Shut the fuck up. I'm telling you, you're not allowed... Because I want you to understand what you're not doing.
I'd have been quiet. If running while the...
No, but what I'm saying, you got to find a way, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right, we borrowed Lee Martin, and at Plymouth it was lovely. You train at the ground, but you had to go over, down from, not on the main pitch. You use the dress rooms, you come down, up into a little, you had 2 pitches, one lower, one higher, just up a big bank. And there was a big bank on the top where I could stand. So a lot of the times I would just have 10v10, 11v11, full-size game. So we signed Lee Martin from Man United. So I tried to find out what he was like. I've always liked him. He was going to be... Anyway, he gets the ball, starts to run with it, trips over it, falls over, fucking lead on the floor. So I'm up the bank. He then gets up, and whoever was marking him started to go away with the ball, so the gap got bigger. 2 yards, and I thought to myself, when's he going to stop fucking gesticulating and chasing back? Mm-hmm. And he didn't, so I went, stop where you are. So the bloke who's running with it, I went, just stop where you are. Right? I said, see that gap? Wait, you fucking see that gap? Why has it taken that fucking long? You only tripped over the ball. Oh, well, I said, well, that's Man United for you, innit? We don't judge you because you tripped over the ball. You're allowed to trip over the ball, but you're not allowed not to run after the fucking bloke who benefited from you tripping over the ball, you fucking idiot. I said, so if you don't get off your lazy fucking ass and do what we all do here, I believe your talent, you're allowed to trip over the ball. But maybe you ain't allowed that bullshit at Man United.
Has there been many players you've not been able to
I think
get
there's I think there's loads, because I don't think everybody can take how brutally fucking in your face I am. I can't help it. That's me. I can't change.
Yeah.
Any examples of players? Because we've had Leon Knight on, who I think
Little Leon from
interesting character. I liked him. Very.
You liar. Well, he said you played him on the right wing or something.
I played him on the right wing, yeah. I was trying to do, and he wanted to play out the middle. I said, you ain't ready for that yet. So, I mean, he was constant, but I liked him and I knew he was going to be something because he had the belief that I never had in myself. He had masses of it.
Yeah.
Too much.
Single-minded.
I think.
But that's the whole beauty of it. I wish I had too much and then I could have filed him down.
Yeah, but surely
Do you know
that's to have too much where you won't take constructive criticism isn't a good thing.
Listen, it takes the whole. I should have. He was probably the first one I had like that. But what I didn't realise when I brought him in, he was 18.
Yeah.
So you signed him?
I borrowed him from Chelsea. He was 18. What I didn't realise what that did to the rest of my whole academy set up. Instead of me looking at my own academy set up first, trying all my under 18s, maybe one of them could have come in. I borrowed him in an arrogant way because I was told he was this and he was that, right? So that pissed off the rest of the club that I had at the time. So I had to learn from that. Hang on a minute. But with him, he expected to play him when he hadn't earned the right to play. I didn't fucking play him, and he didn't like it. So he was an edgy. But sometimes you need that edge. I didn't, it's about.
Could you take that as a positive then?
I did. Yeah. I wish I was more like fucking Ibrahimovic myself because he thinks he's the bollocks, doesn't he? And half the time,
he's not far off, is
he ain't far fucking wrong, is he?
He's not bad to be
smooth parabolics.
As long as you never show anyone else that you think you're better than them by your actions, in other words, you get brought off. Fucking what? What are you saying about a bloke coming on?
Yeah.
Disrespectful. Anybody who's disrespectful, I go fucking mental at. And to me, being late is being disrespectful. You're not putting it importance enough to your teammates. So I would go. I have gone over the top with that. I just can't help it because all my life I've wanted to get better, and I can't stand seeing someone who ain't listening when I think he could achieve amazing things. For me, Plymouth was the start of. Because I felt I did all right at QPR and then I went to Plymouth, I had a Plymouth fan give me this film and say, I want you to watch it because you sound like this man. And it's a true story, Coach Carter. So when I saw the video, I brought my lads in and showed them.
Yeah.
And then I banned 2 players from training with my first team. I said, you've lost, how they went, get out of my gym. Right, sir. And, you've earned that respect. Shut up, get on the line, right? It's all discipline, right? So I told, play for Man United. Bojan Djordjic, the lads don't respect you. You don't do your work. All you're doing is moaning. You're not earned the right to be in my gym. Go and train with the young kids. And I felt that my champions, they were champions the year before, right? You don't earn the right to be with them in the gym. Fuck off. So I showed him the film, had little pasties in there, and that was the training I wanted to get.
Pasties?
Hit
him on a second run. Watch it again.
Gaffer, go watch it again.
Honestly, I come up with these things of trying to, influence people. So I had to be, and I wanted to say it because he was annoying. I hate anyone who makes excuses, and everybody else was wrong for not giving. If he had it and he didn't give it to him, Bojan would go, oh, fucking, you know what I mean? So I said, how can you be so disrespectful to him when you give it away and you're too busy moaning at yourself and you don't chase back? I said, all these champions want you to do is work hard like they do. So fuck off, you ain't earned the right to be on my training ground. Go and play with the kids. Right in front of everybody. Okay. He scored 7 goals in 3 games, so I allowed him back. Then he got in the team. The second he moaned, I fucked him off again. I couldn't stop him moaning. Right, and the other one was brilliant. He went to QPR. They didn't respect him as well. What's his name? Buzaki. Brilliant player he was. Absolutely genius at times, but he moaned as well, and they weren't good enough to give him the ball sometimes, so they weren't having that. So I told him to fuck off as well. That same, in the end, that's what got us all going, because they agreed with it. Whereas sometimes I walk in a dressing room, get the wrong feeling. Went into Palace, and they wanted to play a different way than I wanted to. I wanted to dominate the ball, and I felt my way was right because I just had success at it, but they were better off letting them have it and then counter-attacking. That's what Dougie taught them. So I started to do what I wanted. We started to fail, and I had to learn what they did, and we managed to get up. But they weren't having me.
Have you found it? I ever found it difficult with foreign lads that have come from a different culture, on a human level, of trying to buy into how you are as a person and the philosophy you're trying to put forward?
It's not necessarily foreign lads. It's
on the communication basis. Because I imagine if you got to get a translator in or whatever, because you're not just tactics, are you? No. You're about a mindset. Yeah. So is that difficult then for somebody who doesn't speak English?
It can be. It depends on. I had a fella QPR. He was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He didn't speak a word of English. From Poland. Wozalek, and it was about running. You know, I'll put up with anyone as long as they don't blame someone else and are fucking lazy. I can't stand lazy people, and I keep going back to the people I used to look up to in my life, managers and Shankly and Ferguson. Do you think they would let? Ferguson's a genius, because look at Cantona. The old karate, he supported him through all of these things, Would I have done that? I ain't sure I would have done, whereas Sir Alec obviously knew and did it and got the rest to still buy into. You've got to get your best player on the best money. You have to. If you get that wrong, your club's fucked. Right? So Man United, Alexis Sanchez, the lads ain't having him, fuck off. They all want more money than him. It's all bullshit. So you got to get that right, You've got to get that right as a manager. So I haven't always got everything right, and it's bit me in the ass loads of times. But you still have to blame yourself for not seeing it and not doing it. And I'd like to be honest and say, yeah, I have done that. But, at the minute I'm 56, I still think I'm young. And I can't get a job for fucking toffee. Now, whether owners think that, fucking he's old out and he can't do that, I like to think the way I played was modern. We did press from the front. We did close things. Even at QPR 2 years ago, I had young kids in the team. We pressed, we closed, we did as well as we could at the time. But the business, running the business, if you could see the books, I was a success. Nearly every job I've been at, financially, I've had problems where I've had to cut back, trim down the tree, take the limbs off, and then still ask the people to do things. So,
did Sunderland get in touch, by the way, recently? Sunderland? No. Nothing?
No. I said I'd walk up there, perhaps they thought I was a nutter.
It's a long way from down here.
It's a far walk.
To be fair, if I'd have started walking, I still wouldn't even be there. I'd have still lost the job, but...
A quick piss break.
Yeah.
I think what's quite interesting from the chats that we've had with other players is because we've had a few tales of them trips away, pre-season trips away, and lads sneaking off, having a few beers and whatnot.
Only if they've done their work.
You're always in the know, really?
Most of the time, yeah. Crafty bastards.
Were you one of them who let it slide for so long and then think, right, fuck, I need to stamp it?
No, everything's about psychology for me, so I would give them 3 fucking hard runs to do and make sure that their last time is the best. I met this runner years ago who helped me when I was 33. I got fitter than I've ever been when I was 33. And it's a myth that your legs go. You've got to overcome it with your mind. So went to this place, fucking Great Hill, and it goes on and on and on and on. Could be 600 metres if you want to do all of it. So anyway, I made them from the bottom to the top, and I made them do their last one, but they had to do it flat out. They can't save anything. So if they did, I'd make them do it again. But as I said, with the Blackpool lads, they were fucking brilliant. So they knew they'd earn a drink and a night out if they did it. So they were hammering each other for not pleasing the gaffer. At the end, well, that's when you know you got them if they start policing themselves. So
See, that always used to piss me off. I mean, as you can imagine, I were a fucking horrendous runner, right? But every run, for the first minute and a half, I were at the front. And then I'd, not slowly drop back. But I'd always bust my balls and then just hang on. Yeah. And I used to hate these fuckers who, like, you'd do a set of 10 and the last one, they'd still be sprinting. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't fucking move here. You know what I mean? And if they should have put it in the first 4 or 5 and then just be hanging on for the last 5 or 6.
Yeah. You should reach your limit, whoever you are, right? That's why Pew had you. Because if you were one of them doing the last, but he wouldn't have you. Because that's how we were brought up. You know, you have to do it. But it's like anything. You got to earn the right to be successful. And if you look at the best of the best of the best, every one of them is doing more than anyone else. It ain't luck, is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if you've seen that clip on YouTube of Federer, where this bloke, he's got a suit on, he's doing an advert, and this bloke says, "Oh yeah, you can't do that, can you?" He went, "Yeah, I can." Yeah. So he stood him over there, emptied the balls out of the little metal tub, stuck it on his head, hit it straight off first time. Yeah, well, and he went twice in a row, mate. Says practice, muscle memory, you know, and that's everything, you know. So all I've ever done is got a group of people motivated to get fitter, and they naturally get better then. Because if you're as fit, if you come back from a pre-season and you've had a bad injury, or you take the whole year to struggle to get up to where you were, if you come back flying, you'll have a damn good season. I'm sorry, you will. That's life. Fitness comes with, things start to go wrong when you tire. End of. That's what happens. So you promise someone you're going to get them better, you have to make them fitter first. And if you make them guilty that they're not fit enough in the first place by being able to show them, because I could still run and it pissed everybody off, but I always, even now I'm in the gym 5 days out of 6 days out of 7, depending on having today off because I'm doing this, but I started weightlifting.
I obviously I hated it, but I never actually minded pre-season because I knew how important it were. If you miss pre-season, you're struggling until sort of November time to get anywhere near it. I think that's why I never used to moan. I used to moan a little bit. I used to moan like fuck, but do you know what I mean? Like fucking hell, Tony, what was running up this hill for? You know what I mean? There's no hills on a pitch, but I didn't mind the pre-season because I knew how important it were.
Yeah. Were you happy then for lads to let a bit of steam off every now and again if they put the work in?
Yeah, well, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're never any good at it anyway. So, you know, but, you know, there's a few who've tested me, like on a Friday night when the hotel manageress comes up and says, "Excuse me, some of your lads have ordered chips and beer." I went, "Oh, what room's that?" Because I always have a list of who's in the room.
So if anybody orders something, is that coming to you before it comes out the kitchen?
It was at Blackpool because everything, if they didn't pay for it at the end, he would go mental at me. So anyway, you have a little word, some of the hotels you go to on a regular basis, so just tell me if anything's ordered that's not right, you know, because we feed them. So you shouldn't have things late on. This was like 9:30. Chips, 2 pints of lager.
Probably eating at 7, mine. You know what I mean? It's only just 2.5 hours.
Seriously, they just finished their meal at 8 o'clock. So anyway, I go, "What room's that?" They went, "Oh, it's." I said, "Oh, let me take it up then."
Towel over the arm.
Yeah. So I go. They carry it. They knock on the door, so I made them move after and move out of the way because they look through the little thing. Keith Southern and Brett Ormerod, wasn't it? Fucking hell.
It's not for our room, that. It's not for us.
So I walked in, put it down. I said, "Would you do this at home?" And Brett went, "Fucking right. I can't play without drinking, Gaffer. My dad has tinnies when he gets nervous, and I always have 2 on a Friday night." I said, "All right, there you go. Better play well tomorrow." They both did. You got to trust them, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I bought them it because I didn't want it showing on the thing. So I took it off the club order and I paid for it.
Did Brett tell us that one? I don't
think
he did.
That one.
Sneaky bastard.
I'd have thought it'd have been a fucking massive pot of tea with him. All he drinks is tea in it. Yeah. But that, the same as you said though, I mean, luckily, I can only eat or drink. I can't do both. So Christmas Day, I've never even wanted to have even one. Because I'm fucking all in for my turkey. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Some lads will like have a couple of glasses of wine. I just want to fucking eat. Right?
Is it a whole one?
I just took a couple of chicken legs, turkey legs to anybody else. So I've always been looking at. I mean, I've had. I was at Macclesfield and Dave Morley came to the game Boxing Day, absolutely paralytic, stinking paralytic, and we're like, what the fuck are you doing? Luckily we won the game 6-2, so we got him out of the shit.
Did he play?
He played, but they got something sent off after 5-10 minutes.
Right.
So as I say, he got out of the shit. He's come absolutely steaming to the game,
Jesus.
stinking. By not the manager. I don't think he obviously didn't realise.
He didn't twig on.
Yeah, but years ago that was, some of our best players could outdrink everybody and still outrun them. Do you know what I mean? It's the game's changing now with all the sports science in it all, isn't it? The improvement of it. That's why, like we spoke about earlier on, the mind. People got to look into that now. Really have got to make sure that that's in the game as well, because the science, the fitness of it all is. If you look at the rugby, they used to be big, lumpy lads, and they're all athletes now. So everything's getting quicker and better all the time, innit? Supposedly, but I think it's really important that we look at what we're talking about as lads. We'll all be able to say, "Oh, he was great at school, but he didn't make it because mentally he wasn't right. He wasn't strong enough to deal with that." And I want to make sure that is definitely fixed in the game, where someone knows what they're doing about it. It's all right someone coming out and saying, "Oh yeah," because these problems, they don't last 5 minutes, they last the rest of your life. Anybody who gambles, they last the rest of their life, because they're always at threat of it coming back. And there was someone on Talk Sport the other day with Mark Saggers. It was amazing because he's had it himself, and everybody was, "Oh, you're right, mate, you're right, oh, that's brilliant." There's some knowledge out there. We need to bring it into the game so lads can be safe in the right environment, and these clubs get so much money these days, and it's their duty to make sure that their players are safe.
So do you think the psychology aspect of it is just as important as all the nutrition and all that sports science and all that sort of stuff?
I think it's more so.
Yeah.
Do you do anything? You said you go to the gym regular basis. Do you do anything to keep the mind sharp on a regular basis?
I read as much as I can. I look at things all the time. I watch things on the telly. I'm not that good at reading, so it takes me a while, but I get to the end of it. I wasn't very good at school, to be honest. My brother was brilliant at reading. My sister's very clever as well. And I just had one interest really, which was out on a sports field trying to play football. But I forced myself to read things. I've forced myself to start to learn Spanish. Didn't go too well, to be fair.
Dos San Miguel pub and bar, that's all you need to know. That's all. I can get a fucking drink in any city in Spain, no bother.
No, es importante para mí, es importante para usted. So,
No, you've sold me.
That's,
you can speak
that's
fluent
all I
for
could
me.
learn. But anyway, it's like life's about experiences, isn't it? And at the end of the day, through football, we've all had some belters, so much so that we can chat about it, and it might be half entertaining for people because you see them all do it, and it all looks so perfect. Yeah, it ain't, is it? You see a darts player practice, and how good are they? By the way, you see a snooker player practice, how good are they? Whereas they've got it to a level where they're almost can do perfection. Whereas the best of the best, they have to keep doing that as well. It ain't just a gift. People don't realise the dedication that you have to get to any goddamn level, to play in a professional. Anybody has had to make sacrifices at any level, so, and there's elements of failure. I mean, there is a league and everybody at the bottom of it seems to get their manager sacked these days, whereas hang on a minute, without that someone's got to be at the bottom. So it's crazy, isn't it? You're either in a good bit of energy at the time, your club's at a good bit of energy which you should be loving, And if it's a bad bit of energy, you should still be supporting it. So stop moaning. You know, I just can't stand moaners myself. That's what I didn't like, and you know, I've never been patient with anybody who wants to make excuses or moan. So I think hence that's why I wasn't always successful, because I would dig them out.
Yeah.
And players didn't like that.
Not necessarily.
Is there one player in particular that you look back and go, helped him become who he is? Because I know I keep going back to Brett, but I think he was going to sign for Carlisle or something before he signed for you. But I think there's a certain player that you thought, fuck me out.
I think the biggest change I saw in anyone was Matt Gilks, the goalkeeper at Blackpool. The day I took over, I'm walking in and they're training at the ground. Don't know why, because that wasn't normal. But the goalies were sat behind the goal with George Wood, who was the coach. So I went over to introduce myself to him, and he went, "I'm leaving." I said, "You are?" "Oh, he's fucking number one. I can't stand it." And I said, "Sorry, who are you?" He went, "Oh, I'm Matt Gilks, but I'm gonna have to leave. I can't fucking stand this." And I went, "Oh, hang on a minute. Who are you?" And he went, "Paul Chubka." Right, and right, okay. I said, "Well, just to start with, nobody's number one and nobody's number two." I said, "You will have a chance to prove to me what. So if you want to leave, come and see me and fuck off. Because I don't want someone who's negative. You sound like you're negative. So if you want to fuck off, come and see me straight away. In the meantime, I haven't even seen you fucking play yet."
Well, he heavy then as well.
No, he was fuming. He wasn't heavy. He didn't like the way Paul Rachubka trained, because Paul always left him to do the shooting at the end.
Oh, right, yeah. So he'd do his bit and then fuck off.
Fucking hell, Gillo, you know. Anyway, I have never seen anyone improve so wonderfully well as him, like in his head and I swear we'd have stayed up if he wouldn't have got injured that season. He only played half the season.
The Premier League?
In the Premier League. And when he played, we had 28 points out of 23 games. When he didn't play, we had 11 points out of 23 games. It's fucking exceptional, he was. And then he hated being number two, so he then left us and went to Burnley and was at number two there, and it done his head in. But what a fella, fucking fantastic.
I was at Norwich with him, lived with him for a bit.
Yeah.
Matt Gilks.
Gillo, yeah.
So that would have been before.
Yeah, he went from Rochdale. I think he signed for Norwich from Rochdale.
But all I'm saying is everything I said, he took it, went away, thought about it, applied it to himself, and the difference was fucking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But again, Brett, I mean, I joked about me chickens and doing it, and he said, "I don't know, I don't get it, Gaffer, I don't know where you want me to run." those fucking chickens must be cleverer than me. I said, "Brett, what do they do? Even if you cut their head off, what do they do?" "Fucking run." I said, "Well, can you run?" He went, "Fucking right." I said, "Well, run then." I don't know where to run. I said, "Just fucking run any way you like." So he ran. I went, "Wait, what's he left?" "Fucking great hole. Somebody fill that hole." I said, "That's movement. You've gone from there to there. He's gone from there to there. I want someone else to do something. I don't want just two-way movement. I want three-way movement. Then I want four-way movement. But we got to be supporting the ball enough so when we do that, you'll have time to move." I said, "And what you should be doing is fucking running in behind. So all this keeping it, that ain't what I want. I want to put someone through in behind. So every time we do this, I want to see a fucking runner." So it took ages, but the timing of the runs that he made, the timing of Luke Varney's runs that he made was, I didn't coach them that, they just did it. And what they don't realise, it was just them anyway. It was always them anyway. And I believe the best say to them, "Go on in, just go and play. But this is the structure you're playing in." So Pep Guardiola would say to them, "I'll get you up, with my football, I'll get you up to there. What you do in that final third is, but when you lose it, fucking win it back." And that's the beautiful thing about what he's changing and Klopp, is that wherever you put the ball, you win it back straight away, immediately. You don't drop off and wait for it. That's the difference. So they're maximising the time they'll have on the ball, minimising the time you're allowed to have it, and then they're fucking getting everybody working their nuts off. So the teams that don't do that, who think they're good, who stroll around and don't win it back, a bit like Man United sometimes with Pogba in the middle, they ain't never going to be able to compete with them, not in a million years. So we tried to do that in our own way. But the lads were, all I can say, we had a fantastic moment in time. And Sir Jimmy Armfield was probably my favourite person I've ever met in football. What a man. What a fucking human being. Different class. He said, thanks for the days in the sun. That's how he summed up Blackpool. The sun was shining when you was up there, son. Everybody loved it in the area. You made all their lives better. Thank you for those days.
And was that as big a gratification than the act, like, obviously you've got him up to the Premier League. Was that as big a thing just to think, sit back and think, he said that to me, that's enough for me. I've done I've fucking achieved what I've done my job to the best of my ability. Just from that sort of little comment saying, and you just sat in your house with brandy or whatever, and you just think, he said that to me, that's enough for me.
Well, I used to sit there and listen to him I thought he talked so much sense. You know, he took over Leeds United after Clough when that whole went like wrong. The man, he was in the England squad when he won the World Cup, and he was the young up and coming one. He didn't get in because a brilliant player kept him out going, and he played for Blackpool all his life, turned down Man United. Do you know what I mean? The bloke's unbelievable, but he knew so much about football. And when I started to do this, and because I said I was going to play a different way before I even got the job, when I got it, I said we're going to play a different way, and he went, can I have a cup of tea? So I had a cup of tea on a training ground. He said, I always remember when I first played for England, played against Italy, and I'm right back, and every time it came to me, I was supposed to play it and overlap. I had 3 people coming across. They didn't care where their men went. They just slotted across like table football. Blocked me, made me go back. And when I went back, they pressed that. He said, so you can do anything you want, but look at other things. I didn't realise that you could play like that. I wasn't being coached like that, and I thought, shit, this is brilliant. So that's what got me doing different things. He said, don't think you can achieve something that no one else has done. You can. Little bits like that from a man who'd lived and done whatever he'd done was unbelievable. But there was no listen to me. It was nothing about him. It was all just pure love for the game and wanting to help in a genuine way. You know, the bloke was
it weren't sort of undermining you. He was just talking to you, and
absolutely, just popping in for a cup of tea.
John McGinley said that about the Bolton. It was the Bolton legend.
Nat Lofthouse.
Yeah.
He said
exactly a similar type of thing.
Yeah.
Come and have a cup of tea and a chat.
Yeah.
I think the best in the world are just they realise that they got that humility. They're on the ground. They're proper people. You know, and if you look, well, Jim, it used to piss me off a bit because there wasn't nothing he couldn't do. Right? He could tell a joke brilliantly, right? Because I had lots of meals with him at different dues, and he was always on our table. So his wife Anne was lovely. She used to go to the church, and then one day the fellow was ill, the pianist, the organist. So Jim went, I couldn't play, but I went up there and used to do things when I was a kid. I had piano lessons, so I went up, and then he became the church organist. So anyway, I seriously, I'm laughing and I'm pissing. She went, no, it's true. He could just play by ear. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, then we had this fella singing like Michael Bublé, you know, with the old mic and the posh
crooner.
mic. Yeah, he was giving it that. So he come over to me and give it to Jim. Jim stood up, took over. He was even better than him. Fucking hell. It was unreal. There ain't one thing he can't do. Or couldn't do, God bless him. You know? But again, that was just, there's something totally unique about Blackpool. You know, the colour of the shirt is like vibrant. The tower looks like it's going to rust and fall over, but it ain't, you know. And the
tower lounge underneath it, that's a fucking eye-opener.
It's unreal, isn't it? And you get all year round you can get candy floss. There ain't many places unless you're on Fairgate, isn't it? You know.
So did you know everything that happened with the Oystons and everything like that? Did it tie your experience, or was it even more so? Fuck it, it's us against them, even within the club as such.
To see it after was heartbreaking. You know, to see the fans stopping other fans go in. I didn't like that. If you don't want to go in and you don't want to give them your money, that's fine, but you shouldn't force that on someone else.
Yeah.
You know, you should all be able to make your own choices, but to even have to talk about the success we had and then see your club not benefit from it and the area not benefit from it, like the ground, you know, the ground got better because he put a hotel on it for him.
Yeah.
Nothing else. So that was very, very bitter to feel, to think that he didn't want to just grow it like most chairmen would and put back into it for the people of the area rather than just take out for themselves. Was tough for me to take, but all I can do is talk about how they were with me, and they were fantastic with me. Right? They were. Carl and me, Carl made me be able to do what I did there because of who he was and how he was. He's stubborn as a mule, right? And sometimes your biggest strength can become your weakness if you're not careful. My biggest strength, I think, is my empathy with people. I care, my emotions, I show my emotions. Also, it's my biggest weakness. When I show as a manager that it's my biggest weakness, whereas Carl's was his stubbornness. And no matter the conversations, whatever I had, there was never anything that we didn't say to each other, however ugly it got, because Matt Williams was in the middle of us, and Matt was a huge part of our success because he understood Carl. Carl pissed him off. We used to moan about Carl to each other, and then I would go and moan to Carl exactly what I moaned to Matt about to his face. And then that would always be us. But he was the bad cop, I was the good cop, and that's exactly what I needed at that time. Steve Thompson was invaluable because how he was with the players was just brilliant. He cares so much, he was so knowledgeable, he was so helpful to me, never so unassuming, never wanted any limelight, was always there for the lads, and it was somewhat special. Do you know what I mean?
You didn't take him to Blackpool, did you?
He was already there.
Yeah. How was that for you? You know, if you go to a club, did you just go on your own?
Yeah.
That must be not intimidating, but you want strength in numbers, don't you? If I'm a manager, I wouldn't like to think I'm going to a new place with new lads on my own.
No, I had a year planning all this. I wasn't going to let anyone stand in my way then. I ended up being really totally and utterly driven on this is what I believe in, because I did believe in it. And I drew up things. I'd never seen anyone else do it. I actually made up things that I was going to do on the training ground, and this is why I was going to do them. So I was totally convinced. It wasn't just a pattern. That's what I'm going to do to practice it. And at first they couldn't do it, and I went, no, we're going to do it. You're not in the rhythm. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And then I would give them, you must play that pass, must play this pass, must play that pass, bump, 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 and that'll get us going. So
did anybody in that background staff try to not go against, but say, not buy into that belief?
Yeah,
you have to convince
Tomo
them.
said it after a week, and I went, I don't care, Tomo, and he realised that I don't care, because what I said to everyone, I understand there's a lot of you not happy here. I don't want to hear one moan. I haven't come here to fail. So before you come and moan to me about the problem that you've got, think of 2 ways to fix it. Give me the best one, and then I'll take it to him. And if he don't let us do it, then we're going to have to get on with it. So I eliminated any excuses. I am not going to leave my family down in Bristol and come all the way fucking miles away. Absolutely ridiculous. To live here, isolated up here on my own, to do a football thing where you're all going to fucking moan at me. Piss off. You got a problem, give me 2 ways of solving it, but give me the best one, and then I'll go and see him. If he changes it, great, because all I want to do is make tiny little steps to get better. Right? First one was training ground was fucking rubbish. So I said, Carl, come here. Right? And funny enough, it worked in my favour, right? The lads are just going to come back to pre-season, getting all for the training ground, haven't even spent any money on it, it's supposed to be training. I said, I won't run a horse on this, mate. Look at it. And he just hurt his ankle, that's Sunday. So this is on the Monday morning. I'd only been there 3 days. Fucking rubbish. Right? So I made him walk across the pitch with his dodgy ankle, put his fucking crutches down, I said, that ain't safe, look. He said, well, I said, look, Tomo's told me a place down the road, it's going to cost you 11 grand a month to fucking rent it, so you're going to do that until this is ready for my lads to come on there. No, and I said, yes, yes, you fucking are. Come and have a look at it now. It's ready. Bang. So we went down the rugby club down the road, and I made him do it. The lads couldn't believe it.
Was that filed?
Do you think he?
Yeah.
Do you think he admired your stubbornness in a way?
No, I could prove what I said, so he had to do it. And he said that at first. If you can prove that you need something, and you believe it enough, and you convince me, because I'm not always right. I'm hardly ever wrong, but I'm not always right. I'll have to do it. So I said, this is fucking wrong. Would he have done it after his ankle? I'm not sure. But he actually hurt his fucking ankle. So I'm saying this ain't right. The only other thing I managed to say is, right, and I made him do it, was the pop-up sprinklers on the pitch. He used to get Stan pulling it out there.
Hose pipe?
Yeah, with the hose pipe and all that. I said, you fucking do it. Oh, I don't. I said, you do it. I said, shut the fuck up. I want you to do it once and tell me it ain't worth. I said, this is bullshit. You go and fucking do it. Come back and he ordered them. Because he realised how fucking hard it was. Do you know what I mean? I said, you go and fucking do it. I said, the fact is, so that's the only thing I improved at Blackpool. I can't claim the ground. They were already doing that. They were already knocking it down, right? It was the pop-up sprinklers on the fucking pitch.
That your legacy that you left. See, that thing is though, going back to what you said, it'll probably surprise especially Blackpool fans that how good he were for you saying how important it were, how he were, because everybody hates him in Blackpool, don't they?
Yeah.
But you saying how important how he was to that successful period were sort of pivotal, really. Because how we were
at that time. It's after that, and you're not being funny. We went from being the little corner shop, right, in the Championship, right, little corner shop where you get your fucking
wine gums.
Yeah, you get your wine gums, you get your bread, you get your milk, to competing with fucking Sainsbury's and Asda, the bigwigs, in the top flight. How can you fucking do that? How can you change? But we had to try and do that. Right, we had to try and do that, and in the end of the day, no players in till 3 days before the end of the window. He was proud of that. No players in. We brought in 4 or 5 in the end.
Yeah.
So I had that late on. We won the first game 4-0 for fuck's sake, away, and all our games had to be away because we had to fix the ground.
Yep.
You wouldn't believe the shit we went through, but we managed to do it. Marlon Eyre would come in. I think he got a couple, didn't he, on his debut at Wigan away. Then we got beat 6 at Arsenal away. So then we drew with Everton. You know, in fact, we beat Liverpool twice, home and away. You know, beat Tottenham.
The only time you were going to change your tactics, apparently, against Liverpool. Brett said the way that you were going to play. The only time you'd change it against Liverpool. Yeah,
well, I was wrong with that. I should have learned in the second half of the season. Yeah. I still believe it was not selling Charlie, because the lads had a massive row at the end of that season because Charlie wasn't quite the same. He wanted to go, and I'd promised him he could go, and really the chairman should have backed me then, and I should have said, nah.
So this was in the January that Liverpool came in?
Yeah,
then?
in the January.
Right.
And if you look at after January, we got 11 points instead of in the first we had 28. But
did you understand Charlie's mental
place?
Yeah, pretty much. Did you understand where he was?
At the end of the day, you can't break a promise. If I make a promise to you, I shouldn't break it. But you know, at the end of the day, you got to be careful with. Charlie sued him in the end because we all had a bonus. We had other bonuses written in to earn your money, and I had that in my contract, which I didn't get them. You know, I had a bonus for keeping us up because he said don't get us relegated, because I wasn't happy with the contract I signed. I didn't get that. I had a bonus for getting in the playoffs. I had a bonus for winning to getting to Wembley, but I didn't get that. He just gave me the bonus for going up. So the other ones, he went, you better sue me for. He said, because I'm better than your agent. Your agent's fucking shit.
So basically you're entitled to your promotion bonus, you get into Wembley bonus, you've been in the playoff bonus, and you're staying up bonus.
Yeah, and he said, I'm only paying you once, you fucking idiot.
How can you carry on, like, with your principles, honesty, loyalty? How can you continue to work with that?
Well, my wife calmed me down. It almost kicked off in that summer. And my wife said, when are you going to get a chance of taking your lads and leaving your lads like this in the Premier League? Surely you've earned this right to have a go with them.
He knows that as well, though.
Yeah, well, he's clever, isn't he? He's unbelievably stubborn, and he was very, very clever. Because at the end of the day, if we got promoted, I had a clause in my contract that said we can renegotiate. We tried to renegotiate. We didn't get a happy medium, and he said, you got to stay on your old money. What he didn't do was he didn't inform me by letter that he was taking up my contract the extra year on time, so I was out of contract. And my wife knew that, and she spotted that. So I said, you're going to hold me to that contract, are you? He said, yeah, we've tried to renegotiate. You're going to have to stay on what you were on. And I went, well, if you're going to hold me to that contract, he went, yep. I went, well, look at 23A. You've broke it. And I didn't get the letter. So I was out of contract. So I said, I shouldn't be working now, to be honest. And I'm out of contract, so I can walk for nothing. So he had to try and get me signed. But what he did, whatever we agreed that day, he took some money off it. That's the way he worked, and I had to accept it.
Yep.
We agreed that yesterday. Today is fucking different.
Thing is, you don't actually speak that bad of him, considering the things that's coming out now.
I don't speak that bad of him. What I'm saying is I learned that I should have dealt with my own bits and pieces like he said I should have done. We all rely on other people. I rely on an agent, the wording of the contracts. It wasn't just that. His wording of it, my agent should have spotted, because there was... But who in their right mind ain't going to give you something if you do well? He ain't. Particularly if it's worded.
Spoke about it a lot.
That's the thing for me. I mean, the club's made however many millions. Just fucking give everybody what they're owed. Do you know what I mean? You're getting enough money. You're gonna take 80% of the bastard out anyway eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but listen, life's about business, and I've met some high up people in business, and they do things in the name of business. And if you're gonna get involved with that, you got to go about your business in a professional manner. You know? And if he's cleverer than agents, and he then gets it worded that it's right, in the end, they've had a comeuppance, haven't they? Because Valeri Bellicon sued him, and he won. He had enough money to sue him.
But you...
None of that matters. He's right. It's my fault. I should take extreme ownership of what I do. So if I'm going to sign a contract, I should know what that contract means. I should know what that so-called bonus is. And really, how many bonuses do I want from winning one thing? Do I want all four, do I?
I would. I'd have wanted the fucking lot.
What he should have done was paid me at the time. He should have paid me once we got 50 points and we were safe. Then he should have paid me when we got in the...
Yeah.
Right, at the end of the day, at the end of it, he's waited to see, there you go.
So do you know if you'd have got beat in that playoff final, do you think you'd have got any of the bonuses?
I might have got the one to get to the playoff final.
Yeah.
I might have.
So if you were walking down Bristol High Street now and you bumped into him, what would you say to him? How would you be with him?
I miss him.
Yeah?
Yeah. I actually enjoyed having a tussle with him. It was like a bit of like the old fence off all the time.
Yeah. You enjoyed that sport?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, and the fact is we both came from totally different things. I was born with no money, and I like people, whereas he was born with money, and he likes money. And everybody he's seen go to his dad's trying to extract money out of his dad, so he's trying to save his...
Just seen the worst in people all the time. You've seen, I'd say, with your outlook, the best in people.
Oh, yeah, that's what my mum used to say. Always look for the good in people. Sometimes you might have to look a bit longer than others, but... So he said that's the difference in our upbringing. Even at school he had a fight because his dad had money.
I can imagine he got fucking picked on, bless him.
You want to bet? He looked after himself, mate.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
He knocked 2 people out in the queue to Sanook once, I think. No, they both said something and bomb, hit them both down, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been down as a Blackpool brawler.
Was it completely different then when you went to Palace and with Parish?
Totally different, yeah. Totally different. I realised that I had a rolling contract, a year's rolling contract, and he was actually saying things like, "Oh, yeah, our manager's great. Come and buy him." It was almost as if he didn't want to continue where I was, and and he openly admitted he thought it was him. And I think that's football. You end up thinking it's you. You get assistant managers do a good job with someone, they think it's them. They think they can go away and be a manager. Well,
yeah.
It ain't always that, is it? He thought it was him, but at the end of the day, you pay your money, you make your choice, and Palace bought me for 500 grand, and I had to get that, otherwise I'd still be at Blackpool, and I'd his idea was to pay all the lads who did well for me less than they were on when they started. That was the end for me.
Yeah.
That's my idea. I went, well, it ain't very good, and I can't live with that. Because how can you do that? How can you do that? But listen, I ended up where I was. He was right. We're a selling club. We're going to do that, and all of you had failed. So come here and do well, and I'll give you. If you do well, I'll give you something.
Yeah.
I don't get what's wrong with that. I agree with that, really. If you do well, I'll give you something. We did really well, better than we probably all expected. And he didn't pay us all of the bonuses because he didn't feel he needed to, the way it was all worded. And in a court of law, Charlie took him to court. Charlie won, but it cost Charlie all the money to do it anyway. So what's the point?
And he knew that.
Yeah.
Because Brett sacrificed it, didn't he? He was owed something.
There were 6 of us who could have took him to court. Charlie was the only one. And really, Charlie didn't come out. He won, but
It's more of a personal battle than...
it was a little bit. Yeah, but that was also because he wasn't allowed to go to Liverpool.
Yeah.
I was told to ask you about your dance-offs with the kit man. You are a bit of a mover, by the way. I've seen footage.
Yeah, I come from a bit of a weird family. As I say, my brother was like 9 years older than me, so I used to listen to his Motown, Tamala Motown and all that, and I'm too young for that, really. But I just used to...
Bit of talc on the floor.
Oh, God, yeah, I can,
Your eyes lit up.
No, at the time, your trousers were sort of tight at the top, coming down to your knees, and then they flared out, and then you could really throw some shit. And you could feel it, it's like your hair wafting. You all got hair, I haven't, So, but no, I like music and I like dancing. I was a bit of a weirdo when it come to that. I don't really care what anyone else thinks. If I like the music and I'm moving, then I'm moving, innit? And I wasn't that big a drinker because I was only little.
Yeah.
And my dad never used to. I had to be dedicated, so he'd come to Christmas and give everybody a whiskey. You don't want one, do you? No, all right then. But but you have to have some likes. So I used to spend a lot of time listening to music. First thing I ever bought was a stack system with the little glass door on, and away you go, and turn that down, and I wouldn't. I used to love it. So a bit of George Benson,
Oh, now we're talking.
Luther Vandross and all that.
Snake hips, yeah.
All the, and then now I was very, very much that in the end, so much that my wife said, "This is boring. Your music's boring." So I'm trying to branch out a little bit. I just like the saxophone as well. Anything with a saxophone in, a bit of Baker Street or something. Do you know what I mean? I just love it. I normally like stuff with saxophone in.
Yeah.
And that's one of my ambitions. I want to try and learn to play one of them. But unfortunately, I can't read music, so I'm struggling. I got one at home, but I just love the sound of it.
Strictly might be rubbing their hands there, I think.
Expect a call.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
I'm not sure I'd want to dance with. Give the time to dance with someone else,
Yeah.
Really. It's a bit personal, isn't it?
I'd be fucking crap
Well,
at it.
half
mate.
of them all end up running off. What would you do in a party?
I would be fucking crap at it.
So did you used to get involved in the changing rooms or whatever? Because I think it was Babs that said with the kit man.
Yeah. What, with Walesy? Was it Walesy?
It must have been, yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, I love Wales. He had to do 2 or 3 jobs, mate, you know, and the arguments I had with Carl about getting him a proper tumble dryer, like, as an industrial one, he wouldn't do it. Why am I going to do that? Let him go out. While that's going round, I want him to go and earn some money rather than me pay him to sit and watch the washing. So he made him, it's unreal. Anyway, cut a long story short, he liked his music, I liked my music, and we used to go in and talk about it. Anytime I could, I'd put it on the lads, and they used to moan. No, they used to moan. So one day I went, no, I can't dance to that. What do you mean you can't dance? Yes, I fucking can. I've been dancing before you can fucking dream about it. Before you were even a twinkle in your dad's eye, I could dance. So I showed them, and that wasn't my best moves. I kept my best ones for later on. And I had it at Palace when we were successful. Yeah, I told them not to do anything. It was in the dressing room, and Balassi filmed me and put it out there. I was fuming.
Did you bollock him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Johnny?
No. You don't want to be giving your best moves away to the world, do you?
No, but at QPR, when we were away, I always believed I'd have a day where I could celebrate rather than not always fail, you know. I believe you can, every dog has his day, you know. So when we got promoted at Sheffield Wednesday with QPR, I was just gone mental there. I don't know what I was doing. It wasn't even moves, but that's out there. I can't claim that as dancing. I was just hopping around, you know what I mean? But when it came to it, I would definitely cause some shapes on the dance floor. Not saying whether they're good or not. But ladies used to put their handbags in the middle and dance around them, so I developed this way of kicking them all everywhere. Right through the middle of them all and kick them all everywhere and so piss them off. And the lads would then be having a pint going, where's Ollie? Oh, he's over there. But I just can't help it. I get ants in my pants. I love music. And that was ironic because when my daughters were born and they were deaf, I thought they can't hear music. But I was wrong. They used to feel it. Now 1 or 2 of them, well, 2 of the 3 have got cochlear implants, so they can actually hear it, and it's brilliant.
It's impressive, you know,
the dancing,
the changing room one. Yeah, it was like a house.
I got
John
Sam Allardyce, you know, the one he did with a Kocha, that's bullshit compared to me.
When we finish this, I'm going to get it out.
Yeah. No, I like a dance off with Sam. Because honestly, that ain't dancing. Kocha did some moves and Sam did a little bit. They reckon, nah.
The Pardew one's still up there though, on the touchline. After a goal, you must have seen that.
In the final.
It's one of the worst.
If a sniper had took him out, he'd have deserved it. It was that bad.
So you got any moves in? No. See,
I'm a head bopper.
A head
slash two-stepper.
Yeah. Slash two-step.
I've got to have a drink in both hands, so I can't do anything with them. You know what I mean? So if I've got nothing in my hands, I need to move them, and it's just not me.
You're doing all right Sunday night on the tables.
Oh yeah. Long session though, wasn't it? So.
I have actually seen one of my players. This was what happened at Palace. He can dance with a ball to the music. Wilf. I didn't believe him. Thought it was bullshit. But you know how people juggle with it, and you know, like the futsal stuff. Well, they got music on and he's dancing with a ball at his feet, moving it. It's unreal.
What was he like to work with?
What we should do is get that on film. What skill! I'd never seen anything like it.
He's got a bit, hasn't he?
Oh,
what was he like to work with?
Fantastic fella. So pure.
Were you the manager when he went to Man U then? Yeah.
He was losing his agent. That was a nightmare. So we played Peterborough and he helped get the winning goal. We won 2-1 with the last kick of the game. And obviously Sir Alex's boy Darren rang him up and said, have you seen this kid? Because he was unplayable on the day. And that's what he's like. He's unplayable. He's just too good for you. I didn't think it was real after Matt Phillips and Tom Ince and, you know, all the wingers I had. I had never seen anything quite like that.
So is he the best that you've worked with?
We're dribbling with it, yeah. You know, to send you the wrong way, dummies and all that, yeah. And his pace over a short, I got him to push the ball a little bit further because he was so quick over that short distance that at first he would do a trick and get caught with it, you know. And I said, if you push it a bit further or lift it a bit longer, then you'll be gone and they won't be with you.
Gotcha.
So, but skill, I had never seen anything like it. Honestly.
I think I've given him a bit of stick over it because we went to the Sheffield Palace game and I just felt like he was
Swag.
more worried about strutting about and with his hands in his hair than anything else.
That's just frustration. He ain't like that at all. He ain't. He's just very, very innocent and he's naive and why are they,
Right,
that's what he's doing. He's just got to forget about it and get on with it because he's as pure as the snow, you know?
So do you think he needs to get away from Palace now then?
Yeah.
He's
I've
maybe
heard he's
weren't
going
ready.
to Chelsea. I
Yeah.
heard he's going to Chelsea in the window, first window this January.
So you don't think he were quite ready for Man United back then?
If Fergie would have stayed, yes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But Moisey couldn't take that risk with him. And he wasn't ready for the intensity that Man United was. But Fergie would have believed in him once he saw him on the training ground. And he would have helped him like he did Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he's Ronaldo, because Ronaldo's... He
Not
can
bad,
finish,
is he?
he can do it just slightly good, isn't he? But I believe if you give him the ball in that final third, like Man City do and what have you, he could do things to win you games at the very, very, very highest level of football, I believe.
Because I look at the way Mane was at Southampton and he's then gone to Liverpool and
Kicked on.
I think he could be the similar.
But
What happened with the Brighton?
third in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was again. That Wilf ended up hating that because he's a decent lad and he said it was wrong. But anyway, we turned up, lost Glenn Murray in the first game, on the Monday. No, I think it was the Friday. He got injured. He was my highest goal scorer at the time, and then so we had to go over there. We drew 0-0, and Gus Poyet, a little bit up himself at the time, went, "See you Monday," thinking that they were going to win. So we turned up over there. I would get off first, go in the dressing room, and could smell it. So I went straight in the toilet, and fucking hell, there was 3 cubicles. The middle one was a door open, and there was human shit, feces spread all over. Someone had put some gloves on, done a fucking shite, and spread it all over the floor in those like crisscross tiles, non-slip ones, and then up the side of the fucking toilet and all over the seat. So it wasn't just a turd on the fucking floor.
I've done it properly.
Someone had fucking wiped it in everywhere with gloves on. So it was fucking humming. So I said to the lads, go straight out on the pitch. What's going on? I said, take a notice. We're fucking better than them. We wouldn't have done that. So anyway, Charlie Oatway was waiting outside the fucking doors. I go in, I come back out, and he's sort of smiling. I went, is your ground manager here? I want to speak to your chairman and the manager of the fucking ground. So he sort of face changed. I said, I'm fucking telling you now. Well, there was Sky TV and everything. I said, get me the fucking the ground manager right now, and get me your fucking chairman down here right now. So he's like, what the, you know what I mean? Fucking hell. So I'm not saying it was him. I'm just saying this ain't fucking funny. So the stadium manager, that's who I asked for, not a ground manager. Stadium manager come in. I said, come and look at this. I want it cleaned up immediately. And I said, can you take me out to talk to your chairman?
Was it Tony Bloom then?
Yeah. So anyway, she was trying to play it all down. I said, no, just I'm telling you now, you should have had this locked up. What on earth? Someone's let you down, and I want your chairman to know. So anyway, I go up there, still calm, and I said, Tony, I just wanted someone's let you down, mate. I said, I just want you to know, whatever happens tonight, we're better than you. We didn't do that in your dressing room when you came to our ground. He said, I promise you I'll get to the bottom of it, and I'll find out. That's absolutely disgusting. So anyway, my lads are out there, it all gets cleaned up, they come back in, Gaffer. I said, look, fucking, they want us to get affected by it. I said, tell you, just told their chairman, we're better than you. So let's go out and fucking prove it. So anyway, the lads, all right, yeah, so they go out for the warm-up. Will fucking sat there. I said, what's the matter with you? Come on. He said, that's disgusting, Gaffer. I said, Wolf, we're better than them, aren't we? I said, so remember what we talk about. Try and get some goals. Try and fucking and go out and prove it, kid. I said, I want us to prove we're better than them. All right, Gaffer. Fucking diving header. He got inside his fullback, and then the other one. What's a finish? He scored 2. It's their fault, isn't it? They motivated him for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes you can turn a situation around. I don't know who did it. Could have been fucking anybody, couldn't it? But they should have locked that dresser and make sure it didn't happen. So, God knows what happened.
So had your groundsman been down, kitman been down and put all the kit out, so
Kit was
in between
already
him leaving and then you're actually getting there?
Yeah, at first they tried to say it was our fucking coach driver. Fucking pissed off. Fucking having a laugh. I said, someone's done this deliberately. They've like handed it around everywhere. Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
Didn't have the desired effect.
No, surely Poyet's fuming with whoever done it, because that's your team talk.
It disrupted them, not us.
Yeah,
exactly.
Especially when the chairman's involved and, you know, somebody...
See, that was my brightest moment, because they gave me the power to then put the emphasis back on them.
Yeah.
And I was right. We wouldn't have done that. No one should do that.
No, that's...
So it's not the chairman's fault, it's not Brighton's fault, it's somebody's fault, whoever it was. And he promised me he would get to the bottom of it. Yeah. And he did. He sent me a lovely bottle of wine saying, congratulations, thank you, and I've dealt with the situation, and you were right. Yeah. They did let us down, but please don't think it was Brighton. I said, no, I don't. Well done.
Did you always think that having that relationship with the fans was important? Because I read a story where did you bring the taxi driver in for a...
Yeah, the QPR that was. Yeah. Fans are vital. They see that you get their club. They are. And if you've never played for them, it's really difficult. If you look at the clubs that I've done all right at, I've played for them, you know. Most of the time I didn't play for Blackpool, obviously, but I'd learnt from failing. Right? For me, I've learnt more when things have gone wrong than I have when they've gone right, you know. And I think that's down to it. But fans are vital. The job that you do, you got to understand them and you got to care like they do. And if you look at Klopp when he does that, God, doesn't he ever mean it, you know?
Even if it is a bit of fucking bravado or showmanship, or if it's bollocks, if the fans get involved with it, if the fans believe it,
I think the real ones, the really successful people, I think they do care like that. I swear to you, I think Fergie, you talk about Man United, no one would have the passion that he had for him. Right? He was the same Aberdeen, the success he had there. Right? All I would argue now is if we might not see Fergie ever again, because he needed 4 years without winning anything to prepare Man United to do what he wanted, you know. My first 2 jobs I had for 5 years. I didn't realise this till I interviewed Jonathan Woodgate the other day, and he went, do you realise your first 2 managers' jobs you had for 5 years? It's a long time, isn't it? A long time for things to go wrong, and a long time for... So things I had a chance.
Not anymore, does it?
No.
And he's in a bit of a sticky spell at the minute, and he will get...
Interested to see what happens.
So how did you feel then when it turned on its head? You know, at Millwall, you started getting a lot of abuse from the fans. It turned quite toxic, and there's that. But does it get to you? Because there's that video when you come back and they're really giving you some.
Yeah.
But
what got to me there was I nearly got arrested with my reaction to them. The police won't arrest me, so that's what got to me. I'm dealing with they're doing something to me, and I'm typical me. I'm not going to have it. So they didn't like my behaviour, whereas their behaviour was all right. Yeah, I'm supposed to just take that. You know, you got to learn in every scenario. Sometimes you're better off just dealing with it, as Kenny Jackett used to say to me. Oh, you just got to be bomb-proof and fireproof.
Did you take that abuse on?
Yeah, some of it hurts, you know, some of it, but again, it's all par for the course these days. I'm not being funny. I've heard a lot worse, you know. Jimmy Mullen years ago was working, I think it was at Cardiff, and his wife got her coat set on fire in a fish and chip shop by Cardiff supporters. You know, life is what it is. People are, without football, it's the closest thing to a tribe that you can ever belong to, and I just believe in the game. I believe in the people. I believe it gives us something that is deeper than just a game. It's always family related. You have to get that, you know. We are tribal. We need our families to give us something to carry on, you know, because where are we going otherwise? And I think football has a duty to keep going, and supporters should be able to go and voice their opinions, providing it's not in an abusive way. So we've got to look here. I don't want my grandchildren going to a ground or hearing all of this. I want them to go and enjoy it like the entertainment it should be. But things are changing. The world is much faster than it used to be, and football's faster, let's be fair, because the minute Man City lose the ball, they're all over you. And if you don't learn to do it like that, then you ain't going to be as good as them. And even at the minute, they almost won all 5 things last year they were in. Liverpool managed to stop them once. Tottenham, was that a goal late on? You know what I mean? God, hang on a minute. So they nearly won all 5, didn't they? So I'm suggesting it's getting better. It's getting faster. It's getting, and we're being able to chat about it now, and it fills me with joy, because none of us are right and none of us are wrong. It's our opinions.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Don't you think? I think that's the beautiful thing about football. We can all see the same game, yet we might think that was the best, or this was the best, or that was the best. And
This morning typifies it. Robertson got a star man Sunday. I thought he was dog shit. I swear to God. We were saying it during the game. He's having a fucking tonker. And he's got the yellow star Monday morning.
you know why that was? Made a cross, someone scored from it. So somebody who's not educated that much about it thinks, hang on, I'm going to give him star man, because the rest of them weren't very good, were they?
But then, obviously, Clark Carlisle used to fucking be so besotted with what score he got in the paper. But then you just think, they're fucking. I can imagine they just sat at home on settee watching it, claim their expenses, get paid, and just make fucking numbers up. I mean, he got an 8 once. He's never played a game where he should have got a fucking. A what?
A 9.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, the Daily Sport, he didn't mark that at 20, did he?
He's still got a picture of that on his wall.
I haven't now.
I don't think I never got a 9.
I got to be honest, my mum kept scrapbooks of everything that was ever written in the paper. She died last year. I got these bags and bags of fucking paper cuttings that she didn't even glue in the book, you know. I'm going to have to burn them all. Winter's coming.
And I said, don't be saying your house insurance will go up. Fucking little bit coming off fire.
I had a sports writer said that to me once. He realised that I can't be that serious, because he said I bought some fish and chips and my article was wrapped round them. And vinegar all over it, grease all over it. He said I thought it was the best one I'd ever written.
So you got your own podcast out now?
Just trying to start one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after you guys, it's an honour to be on yours. Obviously, Crouchy's set the bar, hasn't he? Because he's so tall and
fucking killed me.
and he's killed you, yeah. And he brought a book out when you did.
Brought a book out at the same time I brought mine out, and he's fucking set a podcast up when I've just set my fucker up, or our fucker. So yeah, he's killing me.
Yeah, but there's enough room for all of us, isn't there?
There is.
Because I think hopefully what we talk about is interesting and people can associate with it and see what it's like.
You enjoying it?
Yeah, I don't enjoy the abuse that you get sometimes, because you don't know who they are. Do you? You don't know who they are. And I've always tried to stand up and never hide. Bristol City rang me up day before we played them, saying they were going to burn my house down and kill my kids. We beat them 3-0. We won the title that day. I was in the phone book. So what you don't want to do is rub people up the wrong way. That was our team talk, you know. So life's funny, innit? What you're used to, but I just love meeting new people. My dad was right. Through football, I hope you'll meet some wonderful people and you'll find yourself. And it's nice being part of something, you know. And I'm a part of the family of football, and even the Millwall family, because do you know what? There were so many of them who get tired just because some of the other ones do some bad things. Their passion is unreal, and they're worthy of that club, whereas some of them ain't right, you know. So,
Yeah.
and if that spread to all of them, that's their opinion. They're more than entitled about it. What I tried to do was the best I could for them. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work out.
You get thick skin though. I think you do. You're getting a little bit thick. You're getting some dog's abuse at the minute, aren't you?
It's all fun and games, isn't it?
But you over the years you do get thick skin.
Take a notice.
Trevor Francis ain't going to help, is it?
No, no. You know, the thing is, if you're not doing the actual fucking job properly, you are gonna get shit, aren't you? So fucking
To be
liven up.
expected. Well, cheers.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us
Yeah.
here at your office.
No, it's not my office, but the lads are doing me proud, I tell you.
Is it GM?
JMP in Bristol. Really bright, clever bunch of young lads who make some stuff, and even Sky use them because they're bloody good. They make this face look almost human.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Ian.
It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Safe journey back.
Yeah. There we go. Oh.